All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the DUI Guy Live. I have been listening to your feedback, and I very much appreciate all your comments and your suggestions. I mean, honestly, this channel would not be able to run without you. Like, no joke. You both view, you comment, you suggest things. So please keep throwing out suggestions because sometimes somebody will throw something out of left field and I'll go, that's a really good idea. I should definitely do that. So just so you know, I absolutely read your comments. I absolutely listen to suggestions. And I absolutely want to follow through and give you guys content that you all are interested in. So today we're doing something that you all asked for and voted on. The deposition of Amber Heard in 2016 in August. I think this was almost exactly a year ago, if I'm not mistaken. Excuse me. This was almost exactly a year ago. Excuse me, a year ago, 6 years ago. When she, well, here's the story, okay? And you're gonna hear it from. By the way, shout out to Incredibly Average for doing a video releasing the first part of the Depo, the deposition. Basically, here's what happened, and you're going to hear it again in just a moment, but I want you all to get like a feel for it because just diving into it point blank makes no sense at all. You have to understand the backstory, right? So here's the story. The year is 2016. Amber Heard goes to the courthouse. She allegedly tips off TMZ. And as she is at the courthouse, by the time she exits, there's a swarm of reporters and cameras and paparazzi, and they're all, taking photos of her. And she's kind of like flashing her right side to make sure everybody sees this alleged bruise on her face. Johnny hit her. Well, when she initially files in the paperwork, okay, she filed for a DVRO, which is a Domestic Violence Restraining Order in California. It is very comprehensive in scope. It has a lot more added protection for the victim, and the court denies it. The court says you do not have enough, Ms. Heard, and the court says, however, I will grant you a TRO, which is a temporary restraining order, which is 2 tiers less than the DVRO. So it gives you something, but I'm not saying no to your DVRO, your domestic violence restraining order. Take this temporary restraining order, and I will grant you your domestic violence restraining order if you sit for a deposition and under oath testify to the facts of the alleged abuse. So Amber goes on a spree of trying to dodge this, deposition left and right, and she just kind of like swerves and weaves and just tries to escape it as much as she possibly can. Eventually, she realizes she's cornered and she has to go because at some point she says, you know what? I will dismiss this suit. I will dismiss this DVRO here, and I sign right here. But the problem is she's got to have Johnny's signature. And Johnny's like, no, I am not signing this for you until you do the deposition. That's it. That's my stipulation. So Amber is now completely stuck, right? This is 2016. She realizes that she is completely cornered, and she goes, all right, I'll sit for the deposition. She sits for the deposition and dismisses the DVRO pretty much the next day, realizing that her whole case just went completely to shit. Well, this is what we're here for today. So again, shout out to Incredibly Average. Go to his channel, subscribe to his channel. He is going to be releasing, this is just the first part. It's about 2 hours long, so buckle up. We're in it for the long haul. We're going to be doing the full 2 hours today. And then when he releases the next volume, this is parts 1 and 2, because he also analyzed it on his channel, I don't believe he's an attorney, but absolutely go check out his analysis again. Shout out to Incredibly Average. Thank you for sharing because I tried to find the actual video of the deposition as a standalone video, and I can't find it. It's only on Incredibly Average's channel. So thank you, Incredibly Average.
Hey everyone, welcome back. There's been a lot happening with the channel, and it's so good to finally be back and producing content again. I'm excited to see what comes next, and I can't thank you all enough for tuning in for this long and for your patience. To get you up to speed, the past few weeks, I, along with Jax from her channel Movie Myths and Monsters, have been rolling out Amber Heard's 2016 deposition during some live presentations. If you're wondering why she had to set for this deposition, when she first made her allegations against Johnny Depp in May of 2016, she requested a DVRO. She would not be granted one, instead receiving a TRO, or temporary restraining order, until she sat for a deposition and presented her case in court to attempt to receive the DVRO. After dodging a deposition a few times over the course of the summer, she signed the papers to drop her claims entirely, but before Johnny would sign, she had to sit for a deposition first. Then she promptly dropped her allegations immediately after. To break down the rather lengthy testimony, we are conducting the live presentations in parts, so far having completed 3 parts of what will likely end up being 7 or 8 in total. As we continue to present new parts of the Depo, I'll be releasing what I refer to as volumes. Volume 1 will actually consist of the first 2 lives, combining the testimony into one long, uninterrupted video, so you can see it from start to finish in full HD without our faces on the screen, or without commentary or lag or any other disruptions.
That's the one we're watching,
jump ahead
by the
straight
way.
to the testimony, you can find it here, and I ask if you grab any of this or clip it or use it, that you please credit my channel, as it would be
Absolutely.
greatly appreciated.
Yeah, man.
Some may be
You got
wondering
it.
why I haven't shown this footage until now. Honestly, I was waiting for the trial to end, so these could be used to compare how Amber testified during the trial versus how she did in 2016, to see just how she reacted a few months after her initial allegations, before all the evidence, before all the allegations against her, a much more defensive and combative nature versus the traumatized one that would normally be expected or that she tried to demonstrate during the Virginia trial. So let's
Right.
get to it. Feel free to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell,
subscribe,
and leave a
hit
comment
the
telling me what you think
notification
about it. It all helps the channel.
bell.
Plus, I love reading other people's ideas and points and gaining a new perspective. And remember to keep it respectful. Thanks again, everyone, and here we go.
Here it is. August 13th, 2016. Yeah, almost exactly 6 years ago to the day. 10 o'clock in the morning, Los Angeles, California.
Good morning. We're on the record. This is the recorded video deposition of Amber Laura Depp in the matter of petitioner Amber Laura Depp versus respondent.
It's so weird hearing her last name as being Depp, by the way, versus Heard. Because back then, this was before the divorce, obviously. She was Amber Depp. Amber Depp for a while. I still can't I can't wrap my head around that she was Amber Depp. Because I've never heard her referred to as such, because I wasn't, following this back when it first happened. 2016, what was I doing? I was still by myself. I was a solo practitioner at that point in my firm.
John Christopher Depp II.
Was 3 years out of law school.
The respondent. This deposition is taking place at 2049 Century Park East, Los Angeles, California, on August 13th, 2016, at approximately 10:01
I have not
a.m.
seen this. This is a
My
cold
name is
watch.
Stan Beverly. I'm the videographer with U.S. Legal Support, located at 11845 West Olympic Boulevard, Los Angeles, California. Video and audio recordings will be taking place unless all parties have agreed to off the record.
Where Charles is.
Okay. Would all present please identify themselves?
Yes, good morning. Blair Burke on behalf of respondent Johnny Depp.
Hans Alhoff on behalf of respondent Johnny Depp.
Laura Wasser on behalf of the respondent Johnny Depp.
Samantha Klein on behalf of respondent Johnny Depp.
There's like 4 in
On
there.
behalf of respondent Johnny Depp.
5.
Carrie Garvis Wright on behalf of respondent Johnny Depp.
6.
Patty Glazer on behalf of Mr. Depp.
7.
It being
Wow. Holy
Ten-
crap, there are literally 7 lawyers in the room that are on Depp's side. Let that sink in for a moment. Think about what is going through Johnny's head. Now, allegedly, this has never happened, right? He never struck Amber. So much is clear since the trial. Johnny was so scared that she is going to start smearing him with falsehoods. He hires an army to go to this deposition. Think about that. There are 7 lawyers on his behalf. I guarantee Amber has 1 or 2. I don't think we heard their names yet, and if we did, I apologize, I missed them. But 7 lawyers in the room. Like think about this. We only get to see one camera angle, right? Where Amber is about to sit. There are literally like 9 or 10 other people in the room behind the camera. And 70% of the people in this room are on behalf of Johnny Depp. No, Empire says Amber Heard has about 5 or 6 lawyers. Okay. So there's like 15 people in the room. Jesus Christ. Wow. Amber Heard is late to her own deposition. No, I think she just hasn't taken a seat yet, but I could be wrong.
10:02, correct? We are ready to begin, and it appears that petitioner Amber Laura Heard has not shown up for the deposition ordered by the court
Oh my God. She hasn't
for
shown up.
today, nor has any of her legal representatives appeared. We can go off the record.
Nor has any of her legal representatives appeared. Oh my God. Wait. Okay, so that explains it. That's why they never read the names of the lawyers for her side. They're not in the room yet. She's not there. Start time is 10 a.m. And by the way, this is a legal proceeding. This is not, hey, let's go shopping at fucking, Sephora or whatever. Like, okay, I'll see you there at 10. Sorry, I'm late. It's like 10:12. No problem. It was traffic. But this is a court proceeding where Amber has alleged that Johnny hit her. A late victim? Come on. That looks so bad on so many levels for Amber, literally right out of the gate. And this is 2016.
2 a.m. and we're going off the record.
Are we just going to have like a blank? No, it's about to restart in a few seconds. Mark the time, 10:02. How late is she going to be? Like I said, I have never seen this before. This is a cold watch, cold reaction video. They just turned the volume on the camera off. But the camera's still rolling because they want to make a record of this. Like they'll wait until about 10:30 or something and then leave if she doesn't show, I guess. Now they turn the camera off. I'm waiting. What's up, Adriana? Good to see you back. Okay, she showed up. She's mic'd up. It's 10:07. She was 7 minutes late to her deposition. Let the record show Amber Heard, victim, is late to her own deposition where she was originally, remember I said, she was ordered by the court to give this depo if she wants to have a DVRO, the Domestic Violence Restraining Order. Or, well, after that, she's like, no, never mind, I want to drop it, but she needs Johnny's signature to drop it. And Johnny's like, no, honey, no, I'm not dropping it. First do the depo, then we can talk. or like I'm not agreeing to you just dropping it, which makes complete sense.
Okay, so if we
Here we go.
The time is approximately 10:07 a.m. and we're back on the record.
Thank you, Blair Burke, on behalf of respondent Johnny Depp. It being 10:08, and we are now back on the record, having gone on the record at 10 a.m. for the court-ordered deposition of Amber Heard.
Court ordered. I like how she phrases
Ms.
that.
Heard is apparently
It was
now
true.
here with her counsel, and if we could please have everyone introduce themselves.
All right, here we go. How many?
Charles Harder for Ms. Heard.
One.
Joseph Koenig for Ms. Heard.
Samantha Spector for Ms. Heard.
Chris O'Donnell for Ms. Heard.
Leonard Levine for Ms. Heard.
I'm sorry. The
Five.
certified court reporter is Pam Felton.
Five. Okay, so 7 for Johnny, 5 for Amber. By the way, notice how they're all already calling her Ms. Heard. Initially, they called her Ms. Depp, and now I think she told all her lawyers, like, make it known, make it clear that I am officially Heard. I'm no longer a Depp after he allegedly struck me. Like, it's so... I get it. I understand what she's doing, but still, it's just so tacky.
Would you please swear in the witness?
Would you raise your right hand, please? Do you solemnly state the testimony you're about to give in this deposition will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Good morning, Ms. Heard.
Good morning.
Ms. Heard, I'm going to be asking you some questions today. Would you prefer that I call you Ms. Heard or Ms. Depp or Amber? What would be your preference?
Ms. Heard is fine.
Ms. Heard? Okay, I will do that.
Thank
Ms. Heard, this is a proceeding in which you're about to give testimony, and it is known as a deposition. Do you understand?
Yes.
Okay. Our purpose in taking your deposition is to obtain the facts, the true facts and information within your knowledge related to matters involved in this lawsuit or proceeding. We do not seek to trick or to trap you in any way. We do not wish to cause you discomfort. The person transcribing the deposition is a certified shorthand court reporter. At the onset, you will be placed under oath. Do you know what that means?
Yes.
Okay. You will then be asked questions which you are expected to answer fully and truthfully. Under oath. Please do not guess.
She's
We
getting
request
nervous
your best present recollection.
on the whole under oath thing. I think she's getting a little nervous. She took a sip of water. She kind of leaned forward. I don't know. All that body language is kind of, to me, indicative of like, she's like, all right, man, better make sure I have my facts right. You know what I'm saying? Because, well, we all know the truth.
Of the facts and events about which you will be questioned.
She's nervous.
We will presume, therefore, that whatever you testify to today is your best present recollection and not a guess. Do you understand?
Yes.
Okay. Although this deposition is being held in the informality of these law offices, this deposition does have all the solemnity of courtroom testimony. Since you're under oath, your testimony here today will have the same force and effect and be subject to the same penalties as if you were testifying in a courtroom before a judge.
Now, what the lawyer is telling her right now is extremely, extremely important. Extremely important. First of all, she is actually outlining the proper procedure of what is actually happening, what this means. That's first. Secondly, she is getting Amber to understand, like, listen, lady, this is not a joke. Everything you say here is being recorded. Your statements are made under oath. Everything you say here today is going to be used against you. It's almost like a Miranda warning, almost, you know, to the untrained eye, like the lawyer Miranda warning. So you better keep your shit straight. Otherwise, you're going to be in deep doo-doo.
Do you understand? If I might ask you not to nod your head and instead answer yes or no, or however you wish to be responsive to my questions, because we have a court reporter, she needs to understand what you're saying. Do you understand?
I understand.
Okay.
You're allowed to nod your head as well as say yes if you want to.
I understood that as well.
Among such penalties to which you are going to be subject for the
Penalties.
penalty of perjury,
She drinks
I
another
want you to
water
know
again.
the definition of perjury. Perjury is defined
I
as
love this.
willfully and contrary to an oath administered, stating as true a material fact which you know to be false. Perjury is a crime. Do you understand?
Yes.
By saying, okay,
That was a whelp
the
face.
penalties for perjury are set forth in the California Penal Code. Everything said during your deposition will be taken
Fixing her
down and
hair.
transcribed by the court reporter.
Ooh,
Every
that's
question we ask, every answer.
by the way, that hair thing that she just did, that's a from a body language perspective, that's a preening, calming. It's almost like a petting yourself on the head. It's the kind of like, it's a relax yourself. It's a calm down. It's a calming gesture. It's a, I'll be all right. I'll be fine. She's getting really nervous. The lawyer is putting her on edge. I absolutely love everything this lawyer is doing because the lawyers know. I mean, they already talked to Johnny, and Johnny's like, this is 100% false. She's making this shit up. It never happened. I never hit her, which is true, as we know now. And the lawyer is setting her up. She's like, you need to understand, lady, you cannot lie here. If you lie, we will lock your ass up if we can. And she's outlining the definition of perjury, like right out of the gate. We haven't even started yet. It's been like 3 minutes, and she's already like, oh, you know what perjury is? Let me tell you, honey.
Or comment you give, everything said by your attorney or this attorney or that attorney or that attorney or that attorney. You
Exactly,
have,
Bowman.
I think, 5 attorneys here. Everything said by any attorney will be duly transcribed. Do you understand?
Yes.
You've got 6 attorneys.
If therefore, I'm sorry.
And by the way, that's not a comment to her. That's a comment to all these schmucks in the room with her representing Ms. Heard, saying she's talking directly to them. The lawyer is like, everything that you guys say is also going to be transcribed. So better watch yourselves, assholes. I love it. Absolutely love it.
Mr. Hardy, did you say something?
Just noting for the record,
Noting for the record what?
how many attorneys you have and how many, or maybe you have 7.
If it therefore is vital that if any time you do not hear or do not understand any question, Ms. Heard, you tell us at once so that we may have the opportunity immediately to repeat
So
or rephrase the question.
confrontational and jagged. It's
Obviously, if you do not
Oh,
promptly tell us
love it.
otherwise, we'll have no choice but to presume that you did clearly hear and understand each question and that your answer to each question is based upon such complete and full understanding by you.
All right, I understand.
Please also remember that the court reporter can record the words of only one person speaking at a time. So allow time for the question fully to be completed before you begin to respond. If you inadvertently are interrupted before you finish your answer, please tell me immediately. Otherwise, we will assume that your answer was complete and you had nothing further to say on the subject. Do you understand?
Yes, I understand.
And don't interrupt her also.
Let the record reflect Mr. Harder interrupted respondent's questioning to say the statement, don't interrupt her also.
The record already
At the
heard it. You don't
conclusion
have
of
to
this
repeat everything
session, the
I say.
reporter will transcribe what has been
What a
said into
schmuck.
booklet form. You will have an opportunity to read that booklet and make any changes in the form of substance of the answer to any question you feel necessary. Be advised that at the time of this trial, you will be questioned before a judge as to why you made such changes. And we will contend at trial that your memory and recollection here today are good or better than at any later time. Can you think of any reason why you would be unable to provide me with accurate and comprehensive answers today?
No, I cannot. However, I do have a question. I didn't want to interrupt you while you were saying. I have a question about that.
Please.
What do you mean by having to go back or having the option to go back and change anything I say. Why would I do that?
The
Is
reporter-
it about perhaps remembering?
Pierce's partners. One of Pierce's partners from Cleveland.
So can you please repeat that last few
Sure,
lines?
I'm happy to.
Clarify.
Thank you.
At the conclusion of this session, the reporter will transcribe what has been said into booklet form. You, Ms. Hurd, will have an opportunity to read that booklet, that transcript, and make any changes in the form or substance of the answer that you give here to any question that you feel necessary. You should know that at the time of trial, you will be asked before a judge as to why you made any changes. And our position will be that your memory and recollection today are as good or better than at any later time. Do you understand now?
Until I approve the booklet, yes. Is that the correct?
Would you like a
understanding?
moment to speak with your counsel, Ms. Hurd?
I'd just like to say something. The point is you want to be as thorough as you can as to the question and accurate as you can so that you don't need to make any changes. You want to be as complete in this record as possible.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Thank you. Can you think of any reason, Ms. Hurd, why you would be unable to provide me with accurate, truthful, and comprehensive answers today?
No.
Okay. Have you ingested any alcoholic beverage in the last 24 hours?
No.
Okay. Have you ingested any alcoholic beverage in the last 30 days?
I'm going to object. I instruct you not to answer. I don't think it's relevant. I think it invades our privacy. Don't answer it.
Are you going to answer my question, Ms.
I'm going
Hurd?
to take my counsel's advice.
Okay. Ms. Hurd, have you ingested any amphetamine called Providual in the last 24 hours?
I'm going to object, but I'll allow you to answer.
What does that mean?
I'm going to state an objection for the record. I think it invades privacy. I think it's irrelevant, but I'm not going to instruct you not to answer. It's up to you.
I take my medicine as prescribed by my doctor every day.
Does your
By the way, classic gaslighting technique. She completely dodged the question. The lawyer's question was, do you take this particular drug, whatever it was, some amphetamine, I believe. And her response is, this is an objection non-responsive if we were in court, number one. Number two, it completely dodges the question. Number three, it evades the question. Number four, she literally just gave a generic, I take my medicine as prescribed by my doctor. Like, she didn't even respond to the lawyer's question. Jesus Christ.
answer mean that the truth is that you have taken the amphetamine Providual in
There
the
you go.
last 24 hours?
I'm also going to object vague and ambiguous and assumes facts, not in evidence, and calls for a legal conclusion on the
What?
characterization
Of the medication.
of the medication, because you keep calling it amphetamine, but I'm not a doctor and I don't know if that's accurate.
I in fact don't even know what it is.
Let me assure you,
I-
Ms. Hurd, it is an
She was in the
amphetamine.
process
Sorry,
of
please don't interrupt me.
Yeah, that's
So-
what I was getting at, Blair, because you instructed her to be sure to give a complete answer, but yet you're interrupting her, and that's a problem for me and for her.
Well,
Yeah,
it's a
because-
problem for me too, so let me very clearly and unambiguously apologize
Yes.
to you, Ms. Hurd.
Nice.
I did
nice,
not
nice.
intend to interrupt
There
you.
you go.
I want
Try
you to
and
be able to
weasel
give
your
full
way
and
into her
complete
head.
statements.
I love you,
Okay.
Blair.
I would like to.
Have you taken the drug Providual in the last 24 hours?
I have taken my medication as
Oh, for
per
fuck's
my
sake.
doctor's
Just
instructions.
answer the question.
When you refer to medication,
There you go.
Yes.
is that medication to which you refer the drug Providual?
I take all prescribed medication
Oh my
as prescribed
fucking
to me by
God.
my doctor.
Just answer
And
the
I
damn
think
question.
My medical, I think my medical my medical advice from my doctor is private.
Let the record
It's not a big
reflect
deal.
that the
And any medication.
petitioner, Ms. Hurd, has not responded to the question. On behalf of Mr. Depp, we will move to strike as non-responsive.
Thank you.
I'm just going to
What do you
object. I think your last sentence is unnecessary. I think, Blair,
the
honestly, you're
fuck?
being harassing to this witness.
Oh my
Intentionally, you're trying
God.
to rattle her.
He asked her a simple, she asked her a simple fucking question. Provigil. Now I learned the name of the drug because I only heard it 17 fucking times. Do you take Provigil? Have you taken it in the last 24 hours? Yes or no? I take my medication as prescribed. No. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, did you take the drug, Provigil, in the last 24 hours? I take my medication as prescribed. Like, are you fucking kidding me? And then when she's like, I'd just like to note that her response is non-responsive. The lawyer's like, there's no need for that. I think your statement is completely unnecessary. Yes, it is necessary. It is exactly what happened. This woman drives me nuts. Why do I do this to myself? God damn it. Please don't tell me this is going to be another hour, 40 minutes of this today. Please, God, no, please. Oh, all right, moving on.
Whatever she says, whatever the record is, it is. You don't need to make your own commentary every time she gives an answer. And I think that's harassing and it's bothersome.
No, it's
I
protecting
can
the
assure you,
record, you idiot.
Mr. Harder, thank you for your comments. I can assure you I have no intention to harass Ms. Hurd. I asked her.
By the way, for those of you who have asked in the past, why don't I show my kitty on stream? Where she is with me right now. She was actually sleeping, but she woke up. You can see that little sleepy head. She was sleeping, but I just felt her scratch at my chair, so I guess she woke up and she wanted to say hello. So say hi to the chat, Zinnia. Say hi, chat. Hello. Hello, chat. Good to see you, chat. I've been sleeping. She's like, she's got those sleepy eyes. You see those sleepy eyes? She's just like, hello. Anyway, I'm gonna let her get back to business. She she wants to sit. Usually she doesn't want to sit on my lap. I don't know. She likes to, cats. Some of them are like lap cats. Some of them are lap cats on a Tuesday or a Wednesday, and then they just like don't touch me on a Thursday. Cats can be very fickle. So anyway, she wants to join me. Maybe she wants to sleep on my lap today. I don't know. I'm gonna keep her here for now. But anyway, let's keep going.
A direct question to which her response unfortunately compelled me to make an objection for the record.
Yes.
Because it was non-responsive.
Yes.
I will ask
It's not
again,
a harassing.
Ms. Hurd,
Oh,
in the
thank you.
last 24 hours, have you ingested the drug Provigil?
I apologize if you feel I did not answer your question. I feel as though I attempted to answer your question as best as I could while maintaining the integrity of my private medical information.
Okay, we'll just leave it at that. You've asked it 3 times.
And I also do not feel comfortable with what. Do you want me to call you Blair? I'm sorry, I didn't ask you.
That would be
Let's
fine,
go with
Ms.
Ms.
Hurd.
Let's go with Ms. Burke.
Ms. Burke? Okay. Ms. Burke, I feel the way that you...
Psychological tactic by the witness, by the way. Trying to refer to a professional who's trying to do her job by their first name. When was the last time you came into your lawyer's office and was like, oh, good morning, Bob? Seriously. Never. Unless you kind of actually know them personally, they might be a family friend or something, which is an exception, which is definitely not the case here, as we know. It's good morning, Mr. Smith, right? Good morning, Mr. Jones. Good morning, Ms. Whatever. It's not, hey, Laura, how'd that case go, eh? Did we get a new court date, Laura? What the fuck? It's demeaning, exactly. It's derogatory, degrading. She's trying to like bring the lawyer down a notch. It's not going to work. Bullet in my head says, let me assure you, Amber Heard's responses will get worse. Ugh, fucking kill me now.
He characterized it was
Here we go.
Perhaps I felt uncomfortable with how you characterized it. It's my medical history, and I feel there's something private and personal about that. And I also want to protect the integrity of my personal medical information. However, for the record, I would like to say I take my medication as prescribed by my doctor and nothing else.
Let the record reflect that on behalf of respondent Mr. Depp, we would object. The client, the petitioner has been speaking for a number of seconds now, not in response to any question posed, and we would move to strike anything she said after the last refusal to answer the question.
And by the way, she does the exact same thing at the trial. If you remember, Camille had to cut her off several times saying, Ms. Heard, there wasn't a question in there. And I would ask the court to strike everything that she just said, and the judge would grant it 100 times out of 100, if you remember. So she's got a pattern.
Question. And Ms. Heard, I would like to ask you about any other medications you've ingested in the last 24 hours.
Okay.
Also, by the way, the reason the lawyer is asking about medications is to not set her up for failure, okay? It is to make sure that this woman that is answering questions is currently of a sober enough mind so that she can't later claim of, oh yeah, I did say that. Well, that's because I was under the influence of Procedural or whatever, right? That's what this question is designed to do. It's not to embarrass. It's not to harass. It's not to get personal with her. It's not to get, make the world to see what. It's to simply ascertain the fact that she is of sober mind. She is cogent. She's awake. She doesn't have anything influencing her mental faculties. By the way, judges do this all the time right before they take a guilty plea from a defendant. They want to make sure that you are understanding, like, do you understand what is happening here today? Yes. Are you on any drugs or medications? No. Okay, moving on. So we're good. It's in the record. The fact that she won't answer this is literally setting up, in my opinion, a tactic in the future where she can be like, well, yeah, I did say that, but I was actually under the influence of a drug, so I wasn't entirely within my mental faculties. If this thing went completely off the rails, for example, like if it went completely sideways, like, yeah, I was fucked up or something, which would simply merit a brand new deposition, at which point she's going to be more prepared. I'm telling you, these people, they have no moral compass. They have no sense of decency. They fight every step of the way, and they set up these barriers, these like mountains that you have to climb over to get to them. This whole speculation as today about why Amber went to Israel, for example, and like allegedly married Eve in Australia or whatever, all these rumors and nonsense that are going around. The one thing that I do think might be true is that Amber might permanently relocate to a country like Israel. Like, I actually thought about this the other day, and I was like, I started doing some reading on international law and application of judgments in other countries. She thinks she might be protected in Israel, and it's a real possibility. Because in order to enforce a monetary judgment in Israel, you have to defend it. You have to prove it before a magistrate judge in Israel that the judgment is valid and that the judgment is real, and here's why, and that it should be defended and enforced in Israel, right? And here's what she could do in theory. Let's say, Johnny Depp's lawyers go through the hurdle, they prove it. It's going to take like another year because she's just trying to avoid the collections proceedings that are already impending. Like, she sold her house, so she's got no assets, I imagine, right, in the United States. She just has liquid cash stashed away in a bank account somewhere. This is really real possibility. And then she goes to another country so that they can't come after her, spends all her money on appellate lawyers. She's probably in hiding. She's probably in hiding. And you know what? I understand it. I really dislike it. But again, see, it's the same pattern that she's doing right here. She's got this. I'm not giving her ideas. This is literally what she's doing already, running Grey Wolf. Pay attention. I'm telling you, like, Eve Barlow and her have a strategy and they're already acting it out. The problem is she can't run forever. All she can do is to stymie the proceedings. She can slow them down. So once like the judgment is perfected, for example, in Israel, then what she can do is move to another country. And then what? Is she going to be literally jumping from country to country? Let her. She's going to get exhausted. She's going to run out of money. And then they won't be able to collect anything from her. Then she's going to declare bankruptcy. But who cares? Her reputation is destroyed, ruined forever. There is no coming back from it. Johnny won. Johnny will win the appeal. I know I made like a very cryptic post and my previous video was it's just because you have to understand, you got to give your enemies something. You can't just be like a fucking train running through, just like mauling everybody, running over everything. You have to give your opponents a glimmer of hope sometimes, just to make them feel good, to make them feel better. I don't think she's going to win the appeal, but she's got a very powerful team. It's the truth. I spoke the truth. I believe that sincerely, that she's got probably the best firm, maybe in the world, since we're like really the only one that focuses on the First Amendment as much as we do. Ballard Spahr is a top-notch firm. It's probably the number one in the country. Like I said, probably number one in the world. There's no denying that. But does that mean that she's going to win just because she hired them? Let them have hope. Let them. There's nothing wrong with having hope. Actually, there is nothing scarier, nothing more dangerous than a person who does not have hope. Because a hopeless person will resort to the ugliest of tactics. They will resort to the nastiest of words because they have nothing to lose. A person without hope will go to the ends of the earth to perform scorched earth. You have to give your enemies something. Remember that. It's very important. Steamrolling is fine, but at some point you have to take a step back, let it equilibrium to come back, and then you can continue steamrolling. You cannot steamroll indefinitely because that creates chaos, that corners people. And you know what happens to a cornered rat? A cornered rat fights back. No, there's no need for that. All right, back to the TRO. Depo.
Are you finished or are you going to keep? It sounded like you were almost finished and maybe you weren't. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Counsel, if you do not have an objection
Oh, I do.
or an instruction to
I
your
do.
client, could you please remain silent?
I thought you were done, Blair, and then it sounded like you maybe weren't done. I was trying to get in an objection. My objection is this. I'm going to object on grounds of privacy and confidentiality. There's not a protective order here. Her medical history is not at issue in the case.
That's not what she's getting at.
She feels uncomfortable telling you about her medical history. You may have to make a motion to compel if you want to get into medical history. I think we should just move on and let's talk about the issues in the case.
I would ask that counsel, for the record, make no speaking objections. And if there is an illegal objection, I invite counsel to make it for the record. But I would also ask.
Wait, hold on. This is an important fact. Bowman, good call. He called her Blair. He's allowed to. He's a lawyer. He's on the same footing, right? So lawyer. We call each other by our first names. Why? Because we're both professionals. We're on the same footing. We're colleagues. Blair, Larry. Hey, Blair. Hey, Larry. We don't call each other Mr. Foreman, Ms. whatever, right? But Ms. Hurd is here on the totem pole when it comes to the arena. She's a witness. She can't refer to the attorney who is way above her by her first name. That's different. It's a great catch. Great catch, Bowman, and I'm glad you wrote that so that I can address it. He can. He has every right to do that. This woman right here, does not, because she's a witness. She is not an attorney. She is not Blair's colleague. It's demeaning to try and refer to a professional trying to do her job by their first name. She tried it. She failed. Moving on.
I don't want to assume, Mr. Hurd, but will you be I'm sorry, Freudian slip. Would you, for the record,
Wait, sorry.
assume, Mr. Hurd, but will you
Mr.
be
Hurd.
defend? I'm sorry, Freudian slip. Would you, for the record, would you be defending Ms. Hurd as her attorney in these proceedings?
I'm defending her right now.
Okay, I just want to make clear, I will assume that any and all legal objections will be made by you today, and not
Well,
any of the other 7 lawyers.
No, you actually
here.
said earlier that all the things that everyone says on the record is going to be part of the record. So
Right, I'm asking just so that we can have a clear record and any appropriate objections can be made, that Ms. Hurd pick one lawyer from her team to defend her in this deposition and make for the record any legal objections.
Okay,
That is my request.
I understand your request. I will be making objections. If anyone else feels that they need to make an objection, I'm going to let them speak for themselves.
Ms. Hurd, have you ingested in the last 24 hours any non-prescribed medications?
No.
Ms. Hurd, have you ingested in the last 24 hours powder cocaine?
No.
Harassing.
Ms. Hurd, can you tell us, as you sit here, and let me explain. It is very common in these proceedings that we just determine whether you have had any drugs or alcohol, whether anything would affect your ability to tell the truth today or impair your ability to tell the truth, okay? So,
And she's answered all those questions. She's
Okay.
answered about medication. She's answered about non-medication. She's answered about, is she capable of giving her best testimony? You've already covered all that. It's harassing at this point that you keep going over and over and over the same grounds.
Mr. Harder, are you making a legal objection?
Yes.
Okay,
It's
could you
harassing.
make that?
I said harassing, but I don't think that
Harassing
you
is not a legal objection. Well, okay. It kind of is, but it's also not. Badgering the witness is the more proper objection to that. If you're going to say you're badgering the witness, that's a legal objection. But harassing? I don't get it. I mean, I get it, but I don't get it. You know what I mean?
got my message, so I want to be a little clearer.
Mr. Harder, you continue to make speaking objections which are inappropriate and improper in these proceedings. I will ask you once again to refrain from doing so. And I will ask you, Ms. Hurd, one more time to answer my question. Could you tell us if you have ingested any medication whatsoever in the last 24 hours?
Objection. Invades privacy, confidentiality, irrelevant, harassing, asked and answered many times now. Those are all legal objections.
Ms. Burke, I feel I have answered your question. I have taken absolutely nothing that is illegal or that should impair or alter my ability to engage in and be fully present and competent during today's discussion. Sorry, can you not hear me, Blair?
Oh, no, you did not. Oh, no, you didn't. Did you catch that pause there? Did you hear me, Blair? Like, oh, the disrespect of this woman, thinking that this is going to help her gaslight the lawyer into submission is just, oh, so irritating. I would literally look at her and be like, Ms. Heard, I forgot Blair's last name. Let's call it Smith. Ms. Heard, my name is Ms. Smith to you, as I have already previously ascertained. You fucking cunt. Like, that's literally, I wouldn't say that last part, but I would look at in her face. You don't do that. It's so disrespectful. It shows a lack of class, a lack of character, a lack of everything decent and kind. She is literally the antithesis to beauty and justice. She is the antithesis to chivalry, or what's the female version of chivalry? I forget. She is literally the anti-positive. Immaturity, lack of class. Like, come on, woman, just exactly, Sunflower Sky. It does a complete. We already know, but like, she's out. What I wonder. Remember, I said this at one point. I wonder, like, who hurt her. We talked about, like, her dad, right? I think her father was, I think, very abusive, allegedly, to have created this woman in the way that she is today. It wouldn't surprise me. And then she took all her anger out on poor Whitney, and Whitney turned out the same. It's just someone who has completely given up hope on reality and decided to create a universe of their own, because reality betrayed them too many times. Reality has created hurdles, pain, suffering, constant barraging, whatever it may be. So they decide, I mean, it's probably a mental choice, clearly. It has to be, right? You're like, okay, you know what? Fuck reality. I'm going to create my own bubble. And anybody who disagrees with my bubble is an outsider, an outcast, do not belong. And the only way into my bubble is to be forced into submission, like she's doing with Eve Barlow. Eve has been, like, defending her relentlessly, and now look at that. She gets to tour the country of Israel, possibly Australia, with her newly found girlfriend, or I don't know. I thought they broke up at one point. I guess I was wrong. I don't know. They'll break up again. It's Amber is a ticking time bomb. We already know her pattern. Her pattern is introduce you to her life, use you, and once she's done with you, she's received and extracted everything that she needs out of you, discard, next victim. That's her pattern. We talked about this before. And I feel bad, but at the same time I don't, because she's doing it to herself. She knows. Eve knows. Eve knows that this is Amber's pattern, and she's falling into the web anyway. She's choosing this path. So let her, whatever. I'm not going to feel bad when she breaks up with her again.
Did you hear me?
There's a lot of trauma inside this woman.
Ms. Heard, did you
So much
receive
trauma.
a deposition subpoena to be at these offices yesterday at 10 a.m. for a court-ordered deposition?
What do you mean by that?
By the way, before I forget, if you haven't already, don't forget to like this video, comment below, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, and subscribe as a member if you're so inclined. Let's get back to the video.
Are you aware that you were ordered by the court to be in these offices for a court-ordered deposition yesterday at 10 a.m.?
No, she didn't receive anything.
I didn't.
We went in on an ex parte application
And I
and the
didn't.
court ordered it and she was advised of the court's order. She didn't receive a deposition subpoena.
Objection. It appears that another individual representing Ms. Hurd is now
The
testifying for
individual
Ms.
has a
Hurd.
name. His name is Mr.
And
Koenig.
I would ask that anything that was just said be stricken as non-responsive and move to strike as non-responsive Ms. Hurd's answer. Ms. Hurd, I asked you a question about whether you were aware you were supposed to be here in these offices yesterday at 10 o'clock for a deposition.
I'm going to object on grounds of privilege. If you learned of anything through communications of counsel, it's privilege, and I instruct you not to answer.
Ms. Hurd, can I hear your answer to my question?
I
Thanks,
instruct you not
Christy.
to answer. If you learned from counsel,
Ms. Hurd, was it your understanding that you had a scheduled deposition yesterday?
if your understanding was from communications with counsel, I instruct you not to answer. It's privilege.
Ms. Hurd, did you communicate with Jody Gottlieb yesterday?
I believe I did. I believe so.
What did you say to Jody Gottlieb when you communicated with her?
I don't remember what we talked about. We talked about, we talk about many things, Jody and I.
Of the many things you talked about with Jody Gottlieb yesterday, could you tell me one thing you talked about with her?
It misstates her testimony. You can answer. Although I believe it's been asked and answered. She said, I don't recall, but if you now recall, go ahead.
I don't recall the specifics to answer your question.
Thanks, Jen.
Ms. Burke, I don't remember specifically what we talked about. We speak often, text often. When I say speak, I'm including text messages. I don't actually think I spoke on the phone with her. I meant I communicated with her. But I don't remember exactly about what.
Did you, do you still have those text messages?
You mean on my phone
Yes.
or on my device? I'm sure I do.
Okay. Did you bring your phone with you today?
It might be in the car.
Okay. Would you be able to retrieve your phone if we took a quick break?
I'm going to object to that.
Okay.
Let the record reflect that counsel is instructing his client not to retrieve the requested evidence.
I just said I'm going to object to that.
Ms. Hurd, did you preserve all of your communications with Ms. Gottlieb from yesterday?
Objection, vague and ambiguous is the term preserve.
Saved.
I'm happy to rephrase. Have you destroyed or deleted any of the text messaging you referred to earlier that you undertook with Ms. Gottlieb yesterday?
No.
So every communication you had with her by text is still on your phone?
What do you mean by
From
every
yesterday?
From yesterday?
Yes.
I'm sure it is, unless, yes, I'm sure it is. I can't imagine why it wouldn't be.
I don't know what that word is. Okay. Were you
Sorry,
informed? I'm sorry.
I was just gonna ask if I could please have some water. Sorry. I didn't mean to not.
Was it a water?
By the way, again, we've only been through barely 22 minutes of the deposition. She's already chugged all of her strawberry lemonade completely. It's gone. And she's asking for more water. Now, this is not universal, but if y'all remember, it was actually a technique in olden times, like 300-400 years ago, maybe even sooner, maybe even 200 years ago. Before testifying, sometimes they would force a witness to like put uncooked rice in their mouth. Has anyone heard of this tactic? They would put uncooked rice in the person's mouth because if they were, when a person is lying, they believed, and this is true. Usually, when you are not telling the truth, your throat gets drier from anxiety, from nerves. Your what's it called? Saliva secreting glands dry up when you're not being honest. This was their theory. And what they would do is they would instruct the witness to take like a handful of uncooked rice and put it in their mouth and then like spit it out and then testify. Because if their glands would produce the saliva, means they're telling the truth. That was their theory. And if the mouth would be completely dry and not produce any more saliva, then they knew the witness knew the witness was being dishonest and not telling the truth. And she's already she already chugged all of her pink lemonade, and she's asking for more water, and it's barely been 22 minutes in the deposition. I don't know. Some people in the chat are saying it might be drugs. Some people are saying other stuff. I don't know. I have no idea. It's just weird that she's already out of water and she wants more. Just unusual, just an observation.
Are you ready to go forward?
Yes, of course.
Okay. Were you aware that you were asked to bring documents today in response to a deposition subpoena for records?
No, I was not instructed to.
Don't disclose communications with counsel.
When you say you were,
I have the
We have,
documents.
we have
I mean, all the documents that we're producing in connection with the notice of deposition. Could we have them, please? Sure.
Thank you.
Let the record reflect that I'm providing all documents that were requested pursuant to the notice of deposition for my client, Amber Heard.
Let the record reflect that Ms. Spector provided me with about a 2-inch stack of documents that are in no particular order that I can see. We will go through them and we will determine whether they are responsive to the document production request.
Ms. Heard, were you asked to provide any copies of text messages that you had in your possession for these proceedings?
What,
I'm gonna
baby?
instruct you not to answer
What?
if you learned anything from counsel. Privileged.
I will take my counsel's advice.
Ms. Heard, was it your understanding that in conjunction with your deposition, your understanding, what you understood to be true, that you needed to provide the text messages between you and other people related to these matters?
If you developed your understanding from communications with counsel, it's privileged, and I instruct you not to answer.
How else would I?
Hi.
How else would
Did
I?
you say something, Ms. Heard?
I said, how else would I?
Did you provide any text messages to your attorneys in response to anything that was asked of you in these proceedings?
It's privileged. Anything that you give to your attorneys, anything your attorneys give to you, words that are said,
Okay.
written, oral, any of that, it's all privileged. You can't answer.
I would object again to counsel testifying and continuing to articulate speaking objections. And I want to make clear, Ms. Heard, I'm not asking about anything anybody said to you. I'm asking about what you believed you were doing and what you understood you needed to do. Did you ever have an understanding that you needed to provide texts, copies of texts that you had undertaken between you and John Depp?
It's the same question and it's the same instruction. If your understanding is based upon communications with counsel, it's privileged and you cannot answer.
Ms. Heard, have you?
Okay. For those of you wondering, typically in deposition proceedings, the way it's supposed to go, and this is why to the untrained eye, it's like, what's going on? It's just a deposition. No, it's not. Let me enlighten you. The way a deposition works is you have 3 people who are going to be speaking. Usually only 2. The third one is kind of like on the sidelines. You have the lawyer that is asking the questions. Sometimes it's your own lawyer. Sometimes it's the lawyer on the other side. Here it's the lawyer on the other side, Depp's lawyer. The witness, the one that is being asked the questions, is the second person that's speaking. So those are the 2 primary speakers in the room. Excuse me, the 2 primary speakers in the room. Question, answer, question, answer, question, answer, question, answer. You're building a record that you're later going to be using in court because this is a sworn deposition. All testimony is relevant. For the most part, all testimony is going to be admissible for the most part, again, and all testimony is subject to perjury later on in a court of law. Okay? It's a formal proceeding. The third voice that you should occasionally hear, and sometimes lawyers, inexperienced lawyers, they will literally sit there and every single question, they'll just object to form, object to form, object to form, object to form. I don't know if y'all have seen some of those depositions. It's a real thing. Inexperienced lawyers, rather than, they just don't believe that they can do it. In the beginning, all you have to say is, by the way, I object to form to every question that you ask preemptively. Fine, whatever, I don't care. You can go ahead. But when they sit there and they're like, object to form, question, answer, question, object to form, answer, question, object to form, answer, question, like it gets so annoying. But it's a thing. Fine. That's a thing. It's an annoying thing, but inexperienced civil attorneys will fall into that on the defense. But here's the problem. He's going above and beyond what he's permitted to do in a deposition. You cannot instruct your witness not to answer. Like literally, you cannot do that. It's not an unspoken rule. It's actually kind of one of the rules. And you can later go to court and ask the judge to schedule a separate deposition, possibly with the judge in the room. Object to form. Exactly, George Humphreys. Like that one. Okay. Object to form is one thing, but when you just start, he's going above and beyond speaking objections. He is testifying. He's not under oath. She is the only one under oath. He can say whatever the fuck he wants. And Blair is trying to stop him from doing that. It's so fucking improper. It's so improper. Like, the objections, fine. But when he starts speaking on her behalf, I've never seen anything more improper in a deposition in my life.
Preserved all of your text messages in conjunction with this matter?
Objection is to the term preserved, and as to the term all, and as to the term this matter, it's vague and ambiguous.
I love how Amber is just like, oh yeah, I completely agree. Yeah, like she went to fucking law school and understands what all this means. Like, yeah, I agree with my lawyer. I object to all those terms as well. Yeah.
For numerous reasons.
Ms. Hurd, are you going to answer my question?
I would like to know what you mean.
I
would like to know, sorry.
No, go ahead, please.
Ms. Burke, I don't know what you mean by.
She finally called her Ms. Burke.
Does that mean keep, save? Does it mean intentionally, unintentionally?
Very good. I want to make sure you understand what the definition of preserve is.
I understand the definition in normal context. In this specific
I meant it in normal context.
In this context, I don't actually know what you mean.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Since you filed for dissolution from Mr. Depp on May 23rd, 2016, have you deleted any communications in text form between you and any other person?
No.
Okay. Have you, since you filed for dissolution in this matter, May 23rd?
By the way, she finally answered a question without an objection. Like, can I get a standing ovation? A standing ovation for Ms. Heard to finally actually answering a question, and to the lawyer for not having an objection in the middle of it. Jesus fucking Christ.
Deleted any emails between you and any other person?
Yes. My inbox fills up, and I'm told that it is best to delete messages you don't need anymore. Everybody deletes their emails.
Have you deleted since May 23rd any emails you received or sent to Jody Gottlieb?
Not to my knowledge. I don't remember doing that.
Have you deleted since May 23rd any emails you sent or received to Raquel Pennington?
No, not intentionally, not to my knowledge. I don't remember.
When you say in response...
Okay, pick an answer and stick to it. Why does she have 3 answers to every question?
Response to my question, not intentionally.
Mm-hmm.
Does that mean you may have deleted emails between you and Raquel Pennington?
I'm just going to object because I believe her answer was more than what you just said. So you're mischaracterizing her response. She said no, not to my knowledge, and then she said more. So you're leaving that part out, which I think is the first and most important part of it.
Meaning I have not deleted anything relating to this matter for any intentional purposes or reasons other than just the normal. When you are done communicating with someone and they send you an email, you don't need that email anymore and you erase it.
Okay. By the way, Sunflower Sky, Jodi Arias was the one that killed her boyfriend, right? And she was also very extremely cold on the witness stand. Like very gaslightish. I think I know who you're referring to. If you don't, look her up. Jodi Arias. They share a lot of commonalities. She's the convicted murderer of her boyfriend, I believe.
Space in your inbox.
Does your answer mean, Ms. Heard, that you may have deleted emails between you and John Depp, or you and Rocky Pennington, or you and Jody Gottlieb, because you felt like you didn't need them anymore?
Okay, I'm going to object. It misstates her prior testimony. It's very compound.
Mm-hmm.
It's vague and ambiguous.
Ms. Heard, did you not understand my question?
No, I understood, but I agree with my counsel.
Well, if you understood my question, can you answer my question, please?
I agree. I understood your question, but I agree with my counsel and understand his advice as it relates to it.
Well, your
It's
counsel...
not advice. It's just an objection for the record. And it was also asked and answered. You previously asked.
I agree.
Ms. Heard, was it your understanding that you were to provide copies of any of photographs requested?
Sorry. If you learn from counsel's privilege, instruct not to answer.
Maybe we could make a general objection that if you've heard anything or understand anything from counsel, Ms. Heard, that you don't have to answer that question because it's privileged.
No, let's have an understanding that you're going to stop asking her for privileged information, and then I don't need to make the objection.
She's not.
Because
Okay,
Because-
keep your fucking
Calm
voice
down,
down.
Mr.
Yeah.
I'm fine.
Harder.
Thank you.
Okay.
Mr. Harder looks.
I am happy to make clear that I'm asking, as I have been consistently for about the last 10 minutes, Ms. Heard to tell me about what her understanding
And it's
was,
privileged.
which is clearly not privileged.
Yes, it is. If she learned from
Okay.
counsel, it is privileged.
let
If you
the,
want to go to the court and brief it, we can do that. But you're asking her to give you what communications between counsel are, which develops an understanding. So that's privileged.
Ms. Hurd, were you aware that on May 20, 2016, your husband, Johnny Depp's mother died?
Vague as to time.
On May 20, 2016, were you aware that your husband, Johnny Depp's mother, had died?
So I understand. Are you asking me if I knew on that date or if, sorry, I'll wait till you're done.
No, you don't have to wait.
Oh.
Well, it's distracting for her, obviously.
And I just want you to hear my answer.
I am listening, and I invite you to answer my question.
We'd love to. I have a question though, so that I understand and can answer.
Maybe when we're on a break, you can ask your counsel.
I wanted to ask you a question.
Can you answer my question?
I'm trying to.
Okay, what's your question?
I don't understand what you mean.
So you and Siri don't understand what I mean when I ask you if you knew on May 20 that your husband's mother had died.
Are you
Okay.
asking me if I knew on that date or if I know she died on that date? That's what
Let's
I'm trying
start.
to clarify.
Let's start, Ms. Hurd. Did you know at any time on May 20 that your husband's mother had died?
I do not recall when I was made aware of that fact, nor do I recall what the date was that she actually passed away.
Okay.
That's why I want to clarify.
Okay. Am I correct, Ms. Hurd, that on May 20 you had already contacted a divorce lawyer?
I don't remember the date that I first contacted a divorce attorney.
And it's well,
Is it your testimony here today that you do not remember when you contacted a divorce attorney?
Yes, off the top of my head, I do not remember when the first time I contacted a divorce attorney was.
Okay. Was it before, to your memory, do you remember when you learned Mr. Depp's mother had died?
vague and ambiguous.
I don't remember the date that I received this information. I know I learned about it from my parents on a text message, but I don't know what date that was off the top of my head.
Okay. Do you still have that text message?
I don't see why I wouldn't.
Is that yes?
It's exactly what I said. I'm sure I do. I don't know why I wouldn't.
If asked to provide that text message, would you agree to do so?
I'm going to object. Don't answer, and we'll deal with it in the normal course, which is you make a request for production, and then we respond to it. Anytime they ask for information, that's the protocol.
Okay. If I could ask you, if you did not delete that text message, I would ask you to keep or preserve it. Do you understand?
Mm-hmm.
Would you do that?
Yes.
Moving forward, Ms. Hurd.
Ms. Hurd, I want to talk to you about the events first, immediately after May 21. As you sit here today, do you have a very clear memory of the events of May 21?
Are you asking me if I have a clear memory of it?
That's
I heard you
exactly
right.
what I'm asking you.
Vague and ambiguous as to the year, and vague and ambiguous as to which events you're referring to, because in 24 hours, a lot of events can occur. Vague and ambiguous.
Ms. Hurd, did you
This is getting
understand when I
ridiculous.
said May 21, what year I was referring
Literally
to?
running gray wolf.
No, not
No
until,
joke.
Not until what?
Not until it was just made clear.
And what do you understand now after your attorney speaking I was referring to?
Yes, I am clear as to what date you mean.
Okay. And what date do I mean?
May 21st, 2016.
Thank you. Do you have, as you sit here today, a clear recollection of events on that day?
It's vague and ambiguous. It's compound.
How?
There are a lot of events that happen.
That's not compound question. It's a.
Ms.
valid-
Hurd,
it's
do
a
you
valid
remember anything that happened?
She can
on
narrow the
May
question down a
29th?
little
I
bit.
do. I remember when Johnny smashed the phone into my face.
Objection,
remember.
non-responsive, move to strike.
I
My question to you was, do you remember anything from May 21? Do you?
wait, hang on. You asked her a question, she answered it, and now you're moving to strike her answer. That's ridiculous. You can't do that.
Is that an objection, Mr.
Yes,
Hurd?
I'm objecting to you moving to strike when she gives you an answer that's responsive to your question.
Ms. Hurd, I'm asking you a yes or no question. Do you remember anything that happened on May 21st, 2016?
answered
Argumentative and harassing.
I answered that question.
I swear,
that
it's
yes?
like
I
you
answered your
you
question.
ask this woman a question, right? She gives you a non-responsive answer. So you ask the question again a different way, and now it's harassing? Like, that's not how it works. That's not how the system is designed. She's literally cheating the system through her lawyer. It is so exhausting.
Already.
Okay.
Yes.
Am I correct that on May 22nd, 2016, you signed documents for dissolution of your marriage?
Yes.
Calls for legal conclusion.
Was that yes?
Yes.
Okay. When you signed those documents for dissolution of your marriage, was that before or after you went to a birthday party?
Vague and ambiguous.
I don't remember.
You don't remember what, Ms. Hurd?
I don't remember if it was before or after the birthday party.
You went to a birthday party on Sunday, May 22nd, correct?
I did. That's Sunday. Yes, I went to a birthday party on Sunday for my friend Amanda because I was responsible for bringing her birthday cakes as per her husband's request. That was
Just stick to the question. You don't
Sorry.
need to.
But I just wanted to point out that it was my job to bring a special kind of cake.
Okay, thank you for telling me about the special cake. My question to you was, did you sign documents for dissolution of your marriage before or after you went to the birthday party?
Again, I don't remember.
Okay.
Okay, fair answer.
What will
Whatever.
be marked as respondents A? Do you recognize this picture?
I do.
Okay.
I think
And
she
is
remembers
that a
and she's
picture
lying,
of
but
you at this birthday party?
can't prove
Yes,
it.
is.
Okay. Do you have any cakes in your hand?
That's
In
come
this
on.
picture?
Yes.
I don't
The
know what I
picture
had.
doesn't show her hands.
It's
If you know, Ms. Hurd.
harassing.
Yes.
Harassing.
I don't know if there's cake in my hand at this
Okay.
moment. I do
Okay.
not.
Before,
Can't see your hand.
before you,
But the birthday party lasted for a few hours, and actually I was there for many hours, so I don't know if at what point I held cakes or.
The question was about this photo at this moment.
I remember this moment because we had to place hair over my eye to cover my black eye, and everybody at that party, 15 people at that party. 12 of
objection,
which
motion to
were like-
strike.
Stop interrupting the
You
witness,
said-
I
please.
can only do one at a
There-
time.
You asked
Let
me
her
a
question.
finish her answer,
You
please.
asked me specifically to not interrupt, so I would appreciate the same.
Again, she's
ahead.
trying to take over the deposition. There was one question made, and by the way, no offense to the lawyer, Blair, it was a bad question because you're asking if Amber had cake in her hands in that photo. Like, come on. No, probably not. Because they took 1,000 photos that day, and Amber was in 500 of them probably. And if she did bring cake, she brought it at the beginning. Like, come on, that's a terrible question. That question you see, you give them a tiny little crumb, and then they literally bake a cake with it. Because now this lawyer opened the door to this whole charade by Amber to like, well, let me tell you about this photo. We had to cover it up, and this is this and that, and this is this, and this is that. Like, and now she's trying to like, no, that's not my question. But the lawyer is like, excuse me, you are interrupting my witness's statement. Blah, 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 blah. And like because she's the one testifying, right? But again, there is no question pending about any of that. She keeps trying to throw that in, like, oh, when he threw the phone at me, oh, we have to cover up. She's constantly making it about the bruise, the whatever, which, by the way, allegedly was also done with makeup, right? As we learned through the trial. It's like constantly trying to shift gears. No, let's talk about what I want to talk about. Oh, you have questions? That's fine. You can have your questions, but I'm going to tell you what I want to tell you. She's constantly like, here's the question. Oh, let's go over here. Oh, I have another question for you, but I have an answer about this stuff. Like, get over it.
Please finish your answer.
I would like to finish my answer, if that's okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I remember this photograph because we had to place hair over my eye. That I typically get hit on.
The eye that I typically get hit in. What the fuck is she babbling about? Typically? Why haven't you come forward about this before, if this is true? Where's the video or audio or photo evidence of previous? What is this typically stuff? What the fuck?
Because of the nature of, would it be a right hook? But
What?
I specifically had hair placed over my eye to cover a bruise and swelling and scratches on that side of my face.
A right hook
the cell phone incident
would hit
when
here,
Johnny smashed the cell phone
not
into my face.
here.
So my friends here in this picture took great effort to make sure hair was covering my eye as to not set off media.
Wait, hold on. In the photo, right? The bruise was right here, right? This is my right side. When she said right hook, a right hook, by the way, a hook is this. It's this motion. It would come on this side. It would come on the left cheek if there was a right hook. Who does a right hook like this, right? A right hook would come in like this. It would come on the left cheek. Whew, she's fucking up bad.
Attention and media storm.
Are you finished, Ms. Hurd?
Yeah. With that answer, yes.
Objection, non-responsive, move to strike the entirety of Ms. Hurd's answer.
And I'm just going to say all these motions to strike are ridiculous, and we will take them up with the court.
We'll go off the record at this time.
The question, before we go off the record, the question had to.
We don't have to go off the record. We have to
The question had to
I
do.
can only take one person at a time.
The question had to do with this photograph, and the answer had to do with this photograph.
We don't have to go off the record if we choose not to.
We're not going off the record. We're staying.
Okay, we'll stay here. We're still on the record.
You still rolling?
Yep.
All right.
Great. You're still on camera, so.
Okay. I understand. Yeah, I remember this. In
Okay,
fact,
don't talk though.
Okay. Okay.
Love you.
All right. That's fine.
What the Something is going on here. How I was talking about unprofessional conduct before, that's one thing. Like during a deposition, attorneys have to maintain a certain level of decorum, of professionalism. What the fuck is all this touching and love you stuff? Love ya, sorry. Love ya. What? I have to watch this again, I'm sorry. First of all, by the way, he warns her, oh, by the way, you're on camera, so don't say anything stupid, basically is what he's saying. Don't say anything dumb because the camera's still rolling. And I know you're capable of dumb stuff. Don't say anything dumb because it will be on video. That's number one. Number two, he places his hands on her 3 times.
We're still on the record.
He's still rolling?
Yep.
All right.
Great.
One.
Still on camera, so.
Okay. I understand. Yeah,
On the
I remember
arm.
this. In
Okay,
fact,
don't
2.
pop that.
Okay.
3, pat on the back.
All right. That's fine. Okay.
Love you.
All right.
Love ya. And then, all right. And she's got this whole like perk. She just perks up like, oh my God. What the fuck? This is a professional setting. You're not at the club. Lawyer. She can do whatever she wants. She's the witness here. You, the lawyer, have a level of professionalism and decorum that you must maintain. This is your client, not your fucking girlfriend. Or is she? I don't know. But you're not acting like her lawyer. What the fuck, man?
Right. That's fine.
Boundaries. Man, Bowman, you're like my new favorite sub-commentator today. I've been like, this is like the 3rd or 4th comment I'm highlighting by you. Like you're on top of it. Oh, sorry. Can we hear what they're talking about? Oh, he just put his hand over the microphone.
Oh.
But still, that's like, he was like this close to her breasts. Ooh. No. That's literally asking for sexual harassment. No. Mm-mm.
I know.
You're on. Hand it to me. Hand it to me and all.
I know. Oh, you want me to take this?
Yeah.
I let you know that if I hear it, I have to write it.
And I have to table myself.
And he just keeps grabbing her, like he grabs her, he touches her, he like moves her around, he like holds her microphone. They're like fucking besties. What on earth is going on here? There's something here that we don't know. Without a doubt. I've been to depositions before. I've been in depositions where the woman is the one being deposed. I've been on depositions where I'm the one asking questions. I've been on depositions where I'm the one who's objecting. I've been to depositions, bottom line. I have never, ever, ever in my life seen conduct of such, I mean, this is like sexual nature to me. This is not normal, period. He has literally been in physical contact with her like 9 or 10 times in the last minute. Certain touches, like on the shoulder, like that's fine. You know, like, listen, you don't have to answer, like whatever, like shh, keep your voice down. But like he grabbed her arm, then he pat her on the back, then he grabbed her microphone, which is like literally millimeters away from her breasts. Then he like takes her arm and just like moves it around. Rather than telling her, hey, Amber, do you mind lifting your arm? Oh, yeah, sure. Sorry. Yeah, go ahead. He literally like takes her arm, picks it up, puts it back down. Like what the fuck is going on here? This is ridiculous.
Just refrain from speaking if you don't want on the record.
We started now.
Okay. All right. Sure.
Okay.
I'll check my purse.
Are they taking a break?
Do you guys like any water? I'm gonna get up and get one. Would you like more? Fine, thank you.
We're still on the record.
Okay, back on the record. Oh, we're still on the record. Ms. Hurd, let the record reflect that Ms. Hurd has left the deposition table and we are still on the record.
Let the record reflect that all of the defense counsel walked out of the room for several minutes And Miss Hurd stepped out for less than a minute. She's coming right back
To get a water.
to get a bottle of water.
I have something tells me she's getting more than just a water.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to keep you waiting.
No question.
I am 99.9999999% sure they told her something she needed to hear. You never interrupt a deposition, and they're doing it under the guise of she needed water. No, there's something else going on.
Thank you.
For the record, Mr. Harder, I would like you to be aware that if this inappropriate and improper making of speaking objections continues by you, if this coaching the witness through your speaking objections and your testimony in these proceedings continues by you, we will have no choice but to stop these proceedings and seek relief from the court by filing of in limine motions.
I would just like to make clear, I have not testified at all.
Yes,
So
you
what
have.
you just said is incorrect.
No, it's not. It's
My
correct.
speaking objections are only when you are unclear about my legal objections because you keep asking the same things over and over, and it seems like I'm not being clear. And so I just want to be clear. In no way am I being obstructive at all. In no way am I interfering with your deposition at all. And I also find your questioning to be highly problematic, and I need to be able to have a clear record as to why I feel that way. And we reserve the right to file in limine
Whoa.
clear record as to why I feel
Why did
that
she
way. And we
There's that dry sniff again, by the way. There's nothing in her nose. That was a dry sniff. Remember that? She had the exact same sniffles on the witness stand back in May. Yeah, exactly. Aren't there like 7 lawyers in the room that are on her behalf? Exactly. And there is something very wrong here.
reserve the right to file in limine motions in connection with your questioning.
Are you finished, Mr. Harder?
I am, and I think I went on about the same amount of time that you did.
Ms. Hurd, on May 22, 2016,
Does cocaine dehydrate you? I imagine it does. I'm pretty sure cocaine dehydrates you as well, right? I know marijuana gives you cotton mouth, but she doesn't look like she's stoned.
before or after you attended the birthday party
Chat says yes,
to which
it
you
does.
referred previously. At any time during that day, did you go to the police?
Makes your mouth dry AF.
I did not go to the police.
Okay. At the time you first filed, when did you file your action for dissolution in this case, for your divorce against Mr. Depp?
Calls for a legal conclusion.
I believe it was on. I believe it was on the following day, on Monday. But that's my maybe the next day. I don't recall the exact date.
Okay. Prior to filing that action, am I correct? You communicated at some point prior to the filing of that action with your publicist, Jody Gottlieb?
Vague and ambiguous.
I don't remember. I don't remember every time we text the date of those texts.
Okay. Do you have any of those texts with Jody Gottlieb from May 21 or May 22?
I don't know. I wouldn't.
Okay. Could you do me a favor and preserve or keep those texts for me?
Sure.
Thank you. Did you communicate? Do you remember communicating with?
No,
Ms.
she's already legally required to not destroy evidence. Okay, that's actually a separate charge. Destruction of evidence is a separate charge. And especially you guys remember there was that one lawyer who got in trouble who instructed his client or her client to like delete Facebook posts or something like that. You can't do that. You can't do that. But what's interesting is that she's already required to not delete and destroy evidence, but now we have an added layer. So the lawyer doesn't have to tell her this, but she's doing it anyway. She's like, will you do this for me, please, and preserve it? Oh, yeah, sure. Which if later it comes out that she did destroy it, not only was she not legally permitted to, but she was also on notice. It's like, double. Smart move. Very smart move by the lawyer, by Blair.
Ms. Godley, before you filed your papers in court?
Vague and ambiguous. Vegas the time.
Thanks
If you
for the
say
info.
it was May 23rd,
Bubbles.
2016, that would be Monday.
Oh, okay.
Prior to that, did you communicate with Ms. Godley about the filing of your papers?
Thanks,
believe so.
Manad. I gotta say that's gotta be like the best compliment I can receive at this juncture, because I'm dying. we're not even halfway through the first part of the first volume, rather. Manad's like, your reactions make this Depo watchable. I agree. Like, I appreciate that. That's like the best compliment ever.
What did you discuss?
I don't remember all of our discussions and what they entailed.
Okay. I hear you say you don't remember all of your discussions. Could you tell us what you do remember?
I remember having a phone call with Jody.
And do you remember what you discussed?
I remember part of what we discussed.
Could you share that with us?
I believe I called her and said, Jody, I'm going to have to file for a divorce, and I'm told that it's forced to be, or it could become public record, or it could become out in the public because of the nature of how the filing of such paperwork demands. And because I was told that there was a possibility for it to get out in the public, I needed her to know that I was going to file. And I told her, listen, I have unfortunately kept something from you. And it's something I've been dealing with for a few years. And all of those times when I would text you about falling down the stairs or having accidents, unfortunately, it's been a secret that I've been trying to fix and keep and hide to protect myself and to protect Johnny. And I've been living in this situation where...
By the way, Lisa Lee, that's a fantastic question. What happened to her lawyer, right? Initially, it was all objective, blah, 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 blah. And now all of a sudden he's like, chill, right? And Lisa points out very aptly, did her lawyer just like take a chill pill or something? Like, what's going on here? Like, why is he so calm? Why is he not objecting as much? I think I can answer that. He definitely did not take a chill pill. Remember what the lawyer said before they resumed after the break? She was like, if you continue in this fashion, we're going to take it up with the judge. Now, what he has already done is dealt with. Now she said, all right, moving forward, we're done with your shenanigans, Mr. Lawyer. I need to ask my questions. And if you try to testify again, we're basically going to let the judge know. And now he's not going to be in trouble here today. He's going to be in trouble in court. And he knows that his objections and his testifying, not under oath, is improper completely. He knows this. That's why he stopped, because she threatened him. That was the smartest move ever tonight, or this morning rather, on August 13th, 2016. That Johnny Depp's lawyer has made 100%.
I've been in a violent relationship, and all of those times when we would talk about my bruises and things like that, the black eyes, the busted lip cover-ups that we had to do with makeup, to red carpet, makeup attempts to try and hide like the scarring I got from Australia when Johnny was holding me down on the glass table with all the broken glass, and I had all these bad scars on my arms. And I was worried about that for the red carpet. I said all of those times. I've been covering up this secret part of my life, which is that I've been living with Johnny, and it's been really. I've been living in a very violent relationship, and he's been hitting me. And I yesterday or day before, or some days before, Johnny came over to talk, and we were supposed to just talk about his mom. I wanted to be there, but I still wanted to have some protection from him. So I asked that Johnny come over in the daytime when it was most likely that he was sober. And he threw his cell phone into my face. And I'm going to have some markings on my face, or I have markings on my face. And I don't know how much the bruising is going to go down, but I really need to go file for a restraining order so that I can have some protection. I can change the locks. I'm told that this gives me a little bit more protection because I'm still living in his house. And she... I remember the phone call with her because she got sick to her stomach, and she said she was at a play, and she said, "I'm sorry, I have to step out. I feel sick to my stomach." And I said, "I'm really sorry. I've been keeping this from you." And that's what I remember. And she said that she was really sorry that she didn't ask me more questions about all those times. And
Okay, we know one thing. Her acting definitely hasn't gotten any better. This is actually appearing a bit more natural than when she was at the trial, to be completely honest. She's doing better here than she does 6 years later. It's kind of sad that her acting literally was like, if this is like at about a 3, at the trial it was at about a 1 on a scale of 0 to 10. Closer to 0, maybe like a 0.5 at the trial. Here it's almost like a 2.5, maybe. I'd give her a 3. I'd give her a 3 out of 10. It's actually a little bit more believable. Like, what happened, Amber? I know it's terrible. It's so bad. I agree, but she has gotten worse. Rather, like normally actors get better over time, right? They practice or whatever. I guess she over practiced and she got worse. I don't know. OO says it would be so interesting if you could interview that lawyer, Amber Heard's lawyer. Yeah, it would be interesting, but I don't think he would ever talk to me. Does he have a good reputation as a good lawyer? I'm more interested in knowing about the lawyer's behavior than Amber Heard's lies. I don't think he'll ever come on my channel. I don't even think I would invite him, honestly, because I already know the answer. Like, why the hell would he ever come on? He'd be shooting himself in the foot.
that she was there for me and that she was going to be on the next flight home.
Okay. And this was.
There are the crocodile tears that we all know and love.
Do you remember if it was before or after the birthday party we referred to a few minutes ago?
Birthday party, I know, was on a Sunday. Yeah, so then it was probably maybe Sunday night. But that is my estimate. I don't have confirmation. I could probably find out for sure.
But is it fair to say, under any circumstances, you were having this conversation prior to the filing of your divorce action in court on Monday, correct?
This conversation I had with her was before the court filing, because I think I called her to tell her.
Yes.
That I wanted her to be prepared that I was going to file, because I was anticipating that it would become public record or had the potential to become public, and I wanted her to be aware since she handles my publicity.
Okay. And so prior to when the dissolution action was filed, that was, you say Monday, you think?
I believe so. I don't recall exactly.
Okay. Would it be true to say that on Sunday, when you were having this telephone conversation with Jody, would it be accurate to say that you were petrified of Johnny?
Vague and ambiguous.
Do you understand what the word petrified means?
Yes, I understand what that word means.
I just want the truth. On Sunday, is it true to say, Sunday, May 22nd, 2016, that you were petrified of your husband, Johnny Depp?
Vague and ambiguous is the term petrified.
Oh, Lord.
I would like to say that I was scared of the side. Oh, petrified is the word you would like to use.
Well, I'm only using it, Ms. Depp, because you placed it in your sworn declaration in this matter, seeking a restraining order. So I assumed that you understood the word. Do you understand the word?
I understand the word. But again, I answered that once, but I will answer again.
Okay.
I understand petrified.
Okay. On Sunday, May 22nd, as you were having this telephone conversation with Ms. Gottlieb, is it truthful to say you were petrified of your husband, Johnny Depp?
I was petrified of the monster, as we like to call him. Johnny and I
We?
refer to his other personality, the
Oh.
part of him
Her and Johnny.
is present when he beats me up. That we call the monster and have called the monster for years. And that other half of him, that other part of him, is the part of him, to whom I would say I was petrified. Of whom I would say I was petrified.
She can barely keep her story straight. Someone who is truly petrified of their quote unquote abuser would not be talking in such calm terms and just stumbling over every word. They would experience it mentally. They would go inside their head. I've seen victims when they talk about and testify about abuse. That's not how they come off. She's coming across as she's just trying to make sure she gets the statement correct rather than going into her mental palace and revisiting that mental image, because those mental images don't exist in her head. So she has to fabricate them. And when she says, I was petrified, I mean, she says it in just such a calm demeanor, yeah, it's I was petrified by Medusa. She's alluding to Greek mythology. Sure, I was petrified, and yeah, that's what happened. She doesn't come off as genuine because of that.
I would kindly ask you whether that answer means yes, you were petrified, or no, you were not petrified of Johnny Depp on May 22nd, 2016.
Asked and answered.
And by the way, we also learned from the trial. We learned from the trial, if you remember, the monster is when he starts breaking shit and he never wailed his hands on her. He never put his hands on her, as she claimed. He would break stuff. That's the monster. That's when he's drunk, when he has his mega pint, right? Possibly drugs, whatever it may be. I mean, he's an actor. It's a different world. It's a world totally unfamiliar to us. They can destroy a home, and to them it's a Tuesday. We destroy a home and it's your life savings are going down the drain. It's a different type of lifestyle. Rock stars are familiar with it too. Johnny Depp is both. He's a movie star and a rock star. So destruction of property is how they vent and let their anger out, which is kind of normal. Sad to say, but it's true. But putting your hands on someone, you would not be talking about. The monster we learned from the trial is when he breaks stuff and he gets angry. That's the monster, not the let me beat the fuck out of you monster, because that never happened, ever.
Again, I was petrified. Yes, I was petrified of the monster, the part.
Maybe she was petrified of he could come after me. He never did, but I could see that.
Of Johnny that
Why
beat
not?
me up.
She could say
and
that.
Did
Okay.
on many occasions.
I just want to be clear,
The
Ms.
key is
Bird.
he never did.
Yes, you were petrified of the monster, and that monster was your husband, Johnny Depp. Is that correct?
It's
Again, I said it was the part of him. that would beat me up that I was afraid of. The other part of Johnny.
I love how she just interrupts her own
very
lawyer. Like,
nice
you
guy,
sit down,
and
I
one
got
that I
this.
actually was able to live with and tried
That
to.
never happens, by the way. And her lawyer actually shut up. Like, she's got him wrapped around her finger. He started speaking and she looked at him and she's like, no, you sit down. I got this. Mm-mm. Let me tell you something, Lady Blair. This is my answer. Fuck that guy. Yeah, I know he's my lawyer. I got this. Mm-hmm.
Salvage through many different attempts to get him sober, to get him help, to get his family involved, to get him clean and sober,
funny.
and to protect the part of Johnny that is wonderful and is not the monster, that has blackouts and that has rage and doesn't remember and beats me up and has paranoid delusions and uses and almost kills himself when he does. That part, the one I have been trying to salvage out of him, the good part of him, is the one to whom I'm not afraid. The one I'm afraid of is the one that we call the monster. And they both reside in him.
Objection, non-responsive.
There you
Move
go.
To strike. Ms. Hurd?
Objection, it's highly responsive, and
Ms.
I oppose that motion to strike.
Okay, fine.
I don't
whatever.
understand.
Don't worry about it.
Ms. Hurd?
You're not supposed to.
She doesn't
On-
like your answer, so she's trying to wipe it out.
No, that I understand. But
Yeah, that's all you need to know. And I'm just, for the record, I'm just letting the record know that you were responsive.
I feel I'm
Okay,
responding
yeah,
to you
okay.
in the most honest way possible. And I know that it's nuanced. Human beings are nuanced and complex. And I'm speaking to you from my heart. And I apologize if it is not clear enough for you.
Just wait for a question.
Objection to Mr. Harder's testimony and statements
Not a
and Ms.
testimony.
Hurd's last testimony and statements as non-responsive. Move to strike. Ms. Hurd, on May 22nd, 2016, is it
Welcome,
true
Duckley.
or untrue that you were terrified of Johnny?
Asked and answered.
Can you repeat the question?
On May 22nd, 2016, is it true or untrue that you were terrified of Johnny?
On May 22nd?
Yes.
On May 22nd, I was absolutely terrified of the man that we called the monster, the version of Johnny Depp, the part of Johnny Depp that acts erratically, unpredictably, that has severe drug and alcohol problems, and that could beat me up and hurt me and not even mean to at times. That part of him, I was terrified and yes, also petrified. That part of him, I became increasingly scared of because the behavior prior to May 22nd, 2016 had grown increasingly erratic and unpredictable. I was so terrified that I, days prior, went and sought advice from a friend who has lived through domestic violence as to what I could legally do to protect myself, because I lived in his house and I didn't even know if I could do something like change the locks. And I didn't know under what circumstance, what substances he was on, what particular mix or cocktail he was on, because those cocktails change quite often with Johnny. And I didn't know if this month it was cocaine and ecstasy, if it Quaaludes, or if it was other things like that. I didn't know what combo he was on, and that definitely affects the behavior of the monster of Johnny Depp. And I didn't know what he was on or what his behavior, what he was capable of doing. So the month leading up to this, because we had limited to no contact prior, I didn't know what to expect.
Let the record reflect that Mr. Harder's using his hands splayed flatly above the table to instruct the witness not to answer or to stop talking.
That's completely false. That's absolutely incorrect.
Oh, that is a bombshell. So while she's answering, the lawyer for Johnny Depp noticed that the lawyer for Amber Heard placed his hands on the table in a manner to kind of indicate something, like in spades. If you all ever played spade, it's called table talk. It's when you're trying to like communicate with your partner, right? To get them to understand how many books you may be able to take. Well, same thing here. He's table talking with her in the middle of the deposition, and she caught it, and she's making a record of it. Whoo, that's heavy. That's heavy.
Completely false.
I agree. I did not actually receive any indication.
As soon as she said, I agree, by the way, she, again, did the preening behavior. Like, she's trying to, like, calm herself down. Like, she's very on edge. She does not like that this lawyer is noticing stuff that she's not supposed to be noticing. This is our table talk, lady. You're not supposed to be paying attention to that. Why are you paying attention to the things you're not supposed to be paying attention to? Let me make sure you pay attention to the things I need you to pay attention to. Okay, thanks, bye.
Ms. Heard, excuse me, I don't want to interrupt, but you haven't, there's not a question pending, okay?
Sorry. So what does that mean?
You wait for the next question.
Okay.
She got distracted.
So I'm not-
And, oh, God, I'm sorry. I just got lost. I did not notice. I did not notice that I was... I'm so sorry. Just playing the victim here. Like, I have no idea what's going on. I'm so ditzy and blonde, and I don't know what... You fancy lawyers just know so much more than me. Like, oh, am I not supposed to answer? Okay, I won't answer, I promise. Okay, what's the next question?
As to your last answer, it was non-responsive, and for the record, I moved to strike.
And that's not true, and I need to say, it was 100% responsive. The question was, were you terrified of Johnny Depp? And she gave a very thorough and articulate answer as to yes and why it was. So I completely object with your continual efforts to stop her from testifying and to wipe out what it is that she's saying.
Ms. Heard, is it true on May 22nd, 2016, that you were, quote, in fear of Johnny terrorizing you at the Broadway penthouse?
On May 22nd, did you say?
Yes, that same Sunday we've been talking about.
I was scared of what
Thanks, I'm
the
Revnik.
part of Johnny Depp
Renvik.
that is violent and abusive could do. I was terrified of that. Man.
Thanks, Sarah.
I need to take a break. My father's in the hospital and I'm getting a lot of phone calls from my family, so I need to take a short break.
Of course. Can we all remain here so we're ready to go when you're back?
That's fine, just don't ask questions.
Of
Just
course.
give
Well,
me
we'd
a
like to
couple
go off the
of
record.
course.
Were you able to go off the record when he steps out?
No.
Okay, so hold up. This lawyer's dad is in the hospital and he's getting calls from family. That's terrifying. It might also explain why he's more on edge than perhaps he normally would be. I cannot imagine having to do work of this magnitude, of this difficulty, while my own dad was in the hospital. Now, we don't know how serious or not serious the condition is, but no joke, you guys. I mean, that's pretty, and he's the lead counsel. Like, why did they pick him? He's going through so fucking much right now. If this is true, and I have no reason to believe that he wouldn't be telling the truth. I mean, that's like literally wishing ill will upon your own flesh and blood. I doubt that you would want to sacrifice a relative for the sake of a career. But seriously, why did they put this man as front and center man for this deposition? Well, I think rescheduling was probably a non-option running Grey Wolf, because rescheduling, it was probably, or they barely finally got it. They were afraid, like, if we reschedule it one more time, we're never going to get her. So like we decided to go get her. The Ugly Rickon says the monster was when he wanted to leave. Nothing she said could get him to stay, and it made her crazy, which in turn makes her the monster. He could be lying. I mean, we have no reason to believe. I mean, that's just extreme. And he's the only one that walked out. So
Okay, then take your mic off and please don't say anything.
Okay.
You can walk out. You can walk.
Okay. May I ask, may we have other counsel step in? I'd
No.
like to give you as much time as
No, we've
possible.
been going on for an hour. We haven't
Yeah.
taken a break. I'm taking a break. I'm having a family emergency here. Do you understand that, Blair?
Please go and attend to it.
I can use this as a bathroom break too.
we have been going for 1 hour, you guys. 1 hour of this deposition, I mean, and this is like the second break. I'm not saying she has to powder her nose. That was loud.
Just so you guys know, if you speak, I have to write it down.
Do you have any evidence to that, Anoya?
Got it.
Do you have any evidence to that effect? Because I don't.
The table mics will pick up your whisper.
It's a deposition. There is no judge.
We can go off the record.
I don't think we can now without
Okay.
their agreement. Just take off your mic and we can hear.
You guys,
Blair, I can hear
their
you.
table mics.
I mean, you have to understand Blair's dilemma, right? She's got a completely uncooperative, non-responsive witness in this deposition. She's trying to do everything she can in order to get the witness to answer. And she's failing, not because she's a bad lawyer, but because the witness is refusing to cooperate with basic questions. You know, we already know that Amber tried to dodge this deposition several times. And now when they finally got her, she's like, okay, let me dodge it while I'm here. Why did she take the briefcase with her? Good catch, and the Fed. I did not catch that. She did take her briefcase with her. Like, what are they going to do? Fucking steal it? It's on camera. I don't know. Maybe she needed to text someone. Her phone was in there. She didn't want people to know she took her phone. Maybe she's got some other stuff. I don't know. I don't know. Just skipping forward a little so we don't have to just sit through silence.
Oh, we're still on the record. Everything except the text.
We're about to get to the TMZ moment, I'm pretty sure. Coming up here. That famous one that Camille played during the cross-examination of Amber Heard during the trial in May of 2022, this year.
So I'm waiting for her to come out. Yeah,
Wait.
she's in the ladies' room and I can't go in there, so I'm waiting for her.
She's still in the ladies' room. It's been like 6 or 7 minutes. She may have called someone, texted. I don't know. Yeah, that's what the lawyer suggested, Mickey, but they didn't go for it.
Hear that?
can be at a deposition. Hear that, Mom?
Ms. Hurd,
Here we go.
may the record reflect that Ms. Hurd is back in the deposition room with her counsel, Mr. Harder, and I'm going to begin questioning Ms. Hurd again.
Is this a good placement for the mic?
Ms. Hurd, do you know who the person, Jerry Judge, is?
Yes,
Who is Jerry Judge?
head of security for Johnny.
Would it be fair to say he works closely with Mr. Depp?
Yes,
Is it be fair to say that you understand he communicates on a daily basis with Mr. Depp?
Assumes facts, calls for speculation.
If you know,
I have no idea how often they communicate amongst one another.
okay.
Again, did
On-
you catch that right there? It was a hint for she was getting ready to answer, and then he's like, "No, hold on, don't answer that." She's like, "Oh, okay, never mind. I don't know or whatever." Like they're table talking the entire fucking depot.
Let's say the period May 22nd to which we were just speaking in May 24th. Did you believe that?
Yes, Christy. Although I don't have it yet, I'm waiting for Incredibly Average to post volume 2. This is just volume 1.
Mr. Judge was somebody who was communicating with Mr. Depp?
It calls for speculation.
I don't know how they communicate.
Did you believe they were communicating, say, for this period, May 22nd to May 24th? Did you have reason to believe they were communicating?
Compound, vague and ambiguous. It calls for speculation.
I truly do not know how often they communicate by themselves.
Okay. On that Sunday, when you had this phone conversation with Ms. Gottlieb, do you recall me asking you about this?
I recall you asking
Okay.
the question.
And when you went to the birthday party that Sunday, that's May 22nd, do you recall us talking about that?
I do recall that.
Okay.
Oh my God. Oh, you just murdered me. You just fucking murdered me. I hate you. This is so good. This what's that one movie? It's so good. It should have been mine. Like I forget what movie that's from. High Fidelity. When Jack Black and they're John Cusack, Jack Black, and what's his name are creating a list of like songs for a tape or something. It's so good. It should have been mine. OO says it would be so funny if she was talking to her lawyer on the phone in the ladies' room and he's saying my father's in the hospital is code. That's good. I see. I'm not that crafty. That kind of stuff is above my pay grade to like so that they can talk, but under the appearance that they're not talking. Whoo, that's above my pay grade.
And when you just testified that you were petrified and terrified of Johnny Depp on May 22nd, 2016. Do you recall that?
Wait,
I was very clear in how I described and who I described as being what I was afraid of.
Okay.
I was afraid of the monster.
Okay.
The part of Johnny that is unpredictable, erratic, and abusive.
Okay. Is it true,
Somebody
Ms.
whispered
Hurd,
something.
that on May 24th, 2016, you sent a text message to Jerry
Probably.
Judge?
I don't remember.
It's possible.
Okay. Showing you will be marked as Exhibit B. Do you recognize what I'm showing you?
take a moment. Take a
Yeah,
moment.
I know. I'm waiting for volume 2 though.
Do I recognize this?
The
Is that what-
contents of the text message, yes.
Yes.
Okay. And is that a text message that you sent to Jerry Judge on May 24, 2016, 2 days after you've testified you were terrified and petrified of Johnny Depp?
I specifically was terrified of part of Johnny Depp. I lived with two individuals within one body. Part of Johnny, the part that I love, is great. And I was not afraid of that Johnny. The part I am afraid of is the Johnny that is extremely unpredictable, erratic, abusive, and is filled with rage and goes into manic episodes and is uncontrollable when in such states.
And by the way, does that remind you of anyone? Someone who goes into these manic rages, uncontrollable states, the jagged writing on mirrors and in her notebook, the Tonto note that she had. Remember the Tonto note? She knows this subject very intimately. And I suspect because she has personal experience with it, not in a relationship, but in here. She's describing herself. Exactly. What better way to know the subject than having firsthand experience of having lived through it? There is no better descriptor, I guess, than someone who has lived through it, knows it personally on a personal level, has experienced it. Those people can talk about projecting. Exactly. It's called projecting. Which is a narcissistic trait. Look at chat today. Chat is like fucking on top of it. I love you guys.
Or appears to be in such states. And because he wasn't around me, I was unable to deduce or know for a fact what combination of drugs he was using. And that is specific to the kind of Johnny, version of Johnny,
Very
that
true.
I was afraid of.
Chad is very
Objection,
wise.
non-responsive, move to strike.
I objected as responsive.
Ms. Hurd, did you send a text message to Jerry Judge on May 24, 2016, telling Jerry Judge, quote, "I'm desperately trying to reach Johnny. It's extremely important. Please tell him"?
I remember sending the text message that is in front of me right now to Jerry. And I remember sending this because I wanted to tell Johnny or have him told by Jerry or someone who knew him or was close to him. Basically, I didn't want him to find out online that I had or was about to file, or I had already filed for divorce. I wanted him to know verbally.
Here it is.
So I was trying to reach him through a third party to tell him. When I say reach, I'm specifically saying I would like him to know information coming from me or coming from Jerry, from me, so that he finds out about the divorce filing or my intention to do so from some other source other than TMZ, which was alerted.
Ms. Hurd.
There it is. There's the famous gesture that we all know from the trial. TMZ, which was alerted. Shit. Shut up. Yep, next question. We have to watch it again. I can't. I'm sorry. It's too good.
Specifically saying I would like him to know information coming from me or coming from Jerry, from me, so that he finds out about the divorce filing or my intention to do so.
Here it comes.
From some other source other than TMZ, which was alerted.
Ms. Hurd,
notice how she stops like mid-sentence. TMZ, which was alerted. Like that's literally what she wants to do, but she can't because she's on camera. You slipped up there, didn't you, Miss Hurd? Shout out Camille Vasquez, my homegirl. That's the exact question she asked Amber on the stand during the trial. You slipped up there, didn't you, Miss Heard? No, I did not. Thank you. Who cares about your answer? Everybody knows the truth.
Does your most recent answer mean that yes, you did send a text message to Jerry Judge on May 24th?
Oh, wait. So this part I have never seen yet. I'm sorry. Watch her body language.
Ms. Heard, does your most recent answer mean that yes, you did send?
Look at how like she's literally like in a praying position, like, oh fuck, I fucked up, didn't I? I guarantee there's like a 99% chance she's about to say, I'm sorry, could you repeat the question again? Because she's inside her own head right now. She does not hear, there is no information coming in her ears right now, and her brain is processing did I fuck up? Did I fuck up? What did I do? What did I say? Did I say too much? Did I not, like, what did I say? I guarantee that's what her brain is going. Look at this position. Look at this like very tense slump. She went from like a confidence sitting up to all of a sudden she's slumped over with like, oh dear God, please don't let this be I just fucking tanked the entire case. Am I so stupid? How could I be so stupid? How could I slip up like this?
And a text message to Jerry Judge on May 24, telling Jerry Judge, quote, I'm desperately trying to reach Johnny. It's extremely important. Please tell him, end quote.
Asked and answered.
I don't.
Did you send him that text message, Ms. Heard?
Are you asking me if I sent him this text message?
Yes.
Yes, I did.
And you intended to send him that text message, correct?
Again, I remember sending Jerry a text message in hopes that somebody could communicate with Johnny other than me, because I was scared of him. I wanted someone to tell him that I was going to file for divorce so that he heard about it from another source other than me.
So the truth was, I want to be clear, Ms. Heard. So the truth was, you didn't want to speak to Johnny. You wanted a third party to speak to Johnny, correct?
Or to connect us verbally.
So that you could speak personally with Johnny?
Depending on his state.
On that same day, Ms. Heard, isn't it the truth, on May 24, 2016, you sent a second text message to someone named Nathan Holmes?
Yes. I mean, I don't remember, but
showing you what will be marked as respondent C. Do you recognize that text message?
Take your time.
Thanks, Jen. You're awesome. Shout out to Jen. Okay, let me just take this second. I swear to God. Shout out to Jen. Jen B is our moderator for today. I swear to God, Jen B, like without her, this channel would fucking fall apart. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like my lives, she moderates messages, she gives shout outs, she responds to people, she thanks people for donations and joining the channel. She does literally everything. She gifts member subs. And look at this. We're at 938 likes, she says. If we can get to 1,200, she's going to gift out more memberships. Like, I swear to God, Jen, I fucking love you. Thank you for everything you're doing for this channel. Shout out to you.
What was your question?
Do you recognize that text message?
Vaguely.
Is that a message that you sent to Nathan Holmes on May 24, 2016?
It appears to be, if this is a screen grab from Nathan's phone and I am AH.
Is it a true fact, Ms. Heard, that you intended to communicate to Nathan Holmes on May 24th that you wanted Nathan to, quote, tell Johnny I need to speak with him, it's an emergency?
Yes.
Okay. That same day, isn't it a fact, Ms. Heard, that the person you've just testified to on May 22nd, you were terrified and petrified of, you attempted to repeatedly contact on May 24th, that being Johnny Depp?
Asked and answered and argumentative.
Did you try to contact Johnny Depp on May 24th?
I don't recall if I tried to contact him directly. I certainly tried to get him information. And these two texts that you're showing me are me trying to get to people who I know are in communication with Johnny as an attempt to try to inform him that I was going to file or had filed for divorce, because I wanted him to know from me or someone close to him from me that I had filed, as opposed to him finding out from TMZ or something like that.
Is it true that on May 24, you sent a text to your husband, Johnny Depp, saying, quote, "Please call me when you can speak, okay? With all the love in my heart."
I don't know if I sent that text message because I don't remember it, but if you show it to me, maybe it would help.
Help?
Showing you what will be a 2-page exhibit marked Respondents 5. Do you recognize, I'm sorry, D. D. Do you recognize these texts?
Take your time to review them.
Have you had a chance to review those texts?
I have.
Okay. Do you recognize those texts?
Yes.
Okay. And the text in Respondents Exhibit D,
Welcome, Spring
are
Bumblebee.
those texts that on May 24, 2016, you sent to your husband, Johnny Depp?
Yes.
Okay. And is it true, Ms. Hurd, that in that communication with your husband, Johnny Depp, you told him, quote, "Please call me when you can speak, okay? With all the love in my heart"?
I said that right before telling him, reminding him that he passed out while we
How are you going to wiggle out of this one, Ms. Hurd?
were speaking, and because he often passes out
Non-responsive?
after drinking a lot, I want to make sure that security is available to help him. And so in the text, I actually say, which you omitted,
Sorry,
but
I fell asleep there
it's
for a
part of the same
second.
text
I'm waiting for
message.
the
I
answer.
You fell asleep while we were talking, which is
So did I.
kindly that we referenced when we weren't fighting, him passing out, literally while we were speaking. And I had to call or text security to make sure that they checked on him so that he didn't fall asleep on his back and potentially.
She's doing it again. She literally did it again. Like there's a question and she starts to answer it and then she's like, let me talk. Like, ooh, shiny. Johnny Depp sleeping, passed out, shiny. Oh, sorry. What was the question? Yeah, but Johnny Depp, shiny, sleeping, passing. Well, I'm sorry. What was the question?
And potentially hurt himself, as people do when they fall asleep drunk and potentially vomit. And so I checked with security. I asked security to check on him, which means roll him over on his side. And I wanted to remind him that we were speaking when he woke up so he could look at his phone and remember that we were in a conversation that was peaceful, because sometimes he didn't remember the nature of our conversations and if they ended peacefully or not. And I wanted to remind him, hey, look, we were speaking. It's important. It was about the divorce or divorce filing. And I wanted to make sure that he knew we ended on a good note, that it was peaceful, and that we needed to resume speaking because, like I said, he passed out in the middle of the conversation.
Squirrel!
Non-responsive,
Yeah,
move to strike.
And I oppose that it is responsive.
No, it's
Ms.
not.
Hurd,
It's in the text message.
It's not the
ma'am.
question.
are you saying now that on May 24, you actually, prior to sending Johnny Depp a text message saying, "Please call me when you can speak, okay, with all the love in my heart," you had already spoken to him on the telephone?
Don't forget to like this video, comment below, subscribe to the channel if you like this content. I'll be providing more of this stuff, but my God, my head. I don't understand how, like, this lawyer probably needed therapy after this deposition. I swear to God. Whew.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand that question.
I believe you were referring to a text message prior to the text message I was referring to that said, "with all the love in my heart." Are you saying that on May 24th?
It's the same text message. It's just, I mean, it's the same
Okay.
communication.
She's talking about this.
Yeah, but she's referencing this. It's all
Welcome,
one text.
Lynn.
Okay. Let's be clear.
Right?
Did
Just
you
listen.
send a text message on May 24th to Johnny saying, quote, "You fell asleep earlier while we were talking"? Did you send that text message?
I sent this text message.
What I just said?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. When you said that to Johnny, were you referring to a telephone conversation you had been having?
I believe so.
Okay. When did you have
I-
that telephone conversation with Johnny Depp?
Probably
Vegas the time.
prior to that, sending that text message.
Okay. How far prior?
I don't recall.
Would it be fair to say within 24 hours of referring to that?
Calls for speculation.
It would be fair to say that,
Okay.
but I'm not sure.
Okay. But certainly after May 21, correct?
I can't know that because this looks like it's right after midnight. This looks like this text was sent right after midnight, and is that the time stamp above
Okay.
it?
That would be
So it would technically be, if we spoke 33 minutes prior or 35 minutes prior, it would be technically the day before.
right. And that would be, am I correct, Ms. Hurd, May 23rd, 2016?
Yes, but that would also mean that I must have spoken to him within 35 minutes, and I cannot tell you if it was within 35 minutes or not of sending that text message.
Of course.
Therefore, I can't tell you if it's the same day.
Of course. So that would mean that the truth would be that either on May 23rd or May 24th, 2016, you had a telephone conversation with Mr. Depp, to which you were referring to in this later email. Is that correct?
Calls for speculation.
We spoke before this text
Okay.
message. I just don't know how much earlier it was.
Whether it was 30 minutes or 2 hours earlier. Is
I
that
don't
fair to say?
I think it's fair to say I don't remember how far in advance to sending this text message. that we
Okay.
spoke,
Between the
so-
time you sent this text message and when the papers had been filed in court on Monday, is Monday, that would be the 23rd. Would it be fair to say that you had this telephone conversation to which you were referring in the May 24th text with your husband, Johnny Depp?
Calls for speculation.
So, what is it?
You can answer the best you can.
Ms. Burke, can you be clear to me
Sure.
what you're asking me?
Sure. You're referring to having a telephone conversation with your husband when you text him on May 24th, correct?
I'm assuming yes.
Okay.
I'm assuming it's in reference
Okay.
to a phone
Okay.
call, only because I reference security, so it means I probably am.
You're saying you don't remember exactly when it was, correct?
Mhm.
Is it true that it would have been after you had filed the papers in court for dissolution?
Calls for speculation.
I don't know.
Okay. Okay. Was there any other reason you were trying to talk to your husband than the papers you say that you were concerned about?
My principal reason for speaking with him was to inform him in the most honorable and dignified way possible that I had to file for, I finally did it, finally filed for dissolution.
So the intention of your speaking to him was to tell him, if he did not know from the press, that you had filed dissolution on Monday, and that is why you called him, correct?
Argumentative.
I don't know why.
You don't know why you called him?
Excuse me. Argumentative. Ask and answer.
Are you finished, Mr. Harden?
Mhm.
Is that yes?
Yes.
Is it your testimony you do not know why you called him in the telephone call you referenced when you texted him on May 24th?
Misstates prior testimony and argumentative and asked and answered.
I feel I answered your questions, but I'm sorry. I am trying to be very clear.
Isn't it true, Ms. Heard, that you texted him again on May 24, 2016, and wrote to him, quote, please call me, important. Just text me when you can for a minute.
Can talk for a minute.
Yeah, text me when you can talk for a minute is what I said.
Did you communicate that to Johnny Depp on May 24?
Yes.
Did you intend to communicate that to Johnny Depp on May 24?
Yes.
Did you also text him, quote, please answer, I really need to speak with you, question mark. Please call me as soon as you get this, period. Hi, period. Can you speak? Please call me. It's important. Please. Emergency.
May I see it?
Of course.
I don't remember off the top of my head every text message.
What will be marked as Respondents E, showing Ms. Heard? Do you recognize those text messages?
Take your time to review them. Next step.
Oh, okay.
Make sure you see.
Oh, right. Of course. Yes. I see them.
Did you say those things to Johnny Depp, your husband, on May 24th, 2016, 2 days after you say you were terrified of him?
I was terrified of the monster and the monster's response. I was terrified of the part of Johnny, the Johnny that hits me, the Johnny that I cannot control the response of, the Johnny that would take such information like me filing and him learning about it through a third party and have an unpredictable and potentially dangerous and terrifying response. That Johnny.
The Johnny you were trying to talk to on May 24th.
I was trying to text and or speak on the phone with the rational, sober Johnny, hoping he would have woken up from when he passed out the next morning, still trying to reach him, hoping he wakes up and is somewhat sober and somewhat calm, and therefore could process the information of me having filed for divorce in the most peaceful and rational way possible. I was trying to reach the good Johnny, the Johnny that I was married to. I wanted to communicate with him in the safest way possible and not compromise my safety. Therefore, I was trying to text him where there was a physical distance, trying to call him where there's a physical distance, and hopefully reach the Johnny that I did love very much. The Johnny that was the good Johnny, the sober Johnny, the one that would process this rationally and perhaps hear some legitimacy in it. The Johnny that I constantly was trying to save and stay married to and salvage from within the other Johnny that is dangerous and erratic and scary and violent. Sorry.
Are you finished, Ms. Hurt?
I was going to wait for you to finish talking.
So is that yes, you did try to speak repeatedly with Johnny on May 24, 2016?
I tried to communicate with what I could only hope to be the sober, rational husband person that I love, not the other one that could possibly take this information and to no uncertain and potentially very scary ends.
Like I literally, I haven't commented in a while just because I'm literally just like My eyes are glazing over at this point. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I'm waiting for anything of substance to come out of her mouth, Amber's mouth. I mean, the lawyer is trying to extract. She's getting bits and pieces here and there, but it's literally like somebody in the chat said it earlier. It's like pulling teeth with this woman, and it's beyond exhausting listening to her because she can't keep a sentence together. She can't keep a thought together. And like every time you think you're about to get something good, all of a sudden she runs. There's the squirrel. Let me talk about this for a minute, and it's like, oh my God, lady, can you please get back on topic? Please, please. I'm dying of old age listening to you.
Were you aware at the time you were trying to speak with your husband, Johnny Depp, or as you say, your husband that wasn't this monster? At the time you were trying to repeatedly communicate with him on May 24th, were you aware that your lawyer had sent a letter to Johnny's entertainment lawyer, Jake Bloom?
If you became aware through communications of counsel, it's privileged, and I instruct you not to answer. If you became aware from some other means, then you can answer.
And I take Charles's advice.
When you repeatedly tried to call and text your husband,
Charles. She called him by his first name. She didn't even say my lawyer. She didn't say Mr. whatever his name is, his last name. She said, I'm going to take Charles's advice on this. Thank you, Dark Stranger Nico. Welcome to the channel.
On May 24th, did you know that your lawyers had sent a letter to Jake Bloom on your behalf?
If you found out through communications of counsel, I instruct you not to answer.
Okay.
I will once again object to Mr. Harder's continuing speaking objections and coaching of his witness.
I'm not, I just have to clarify. I'm not coaching her. I'm just letting her know what the privilege is so that she knows what the privilege is. She's not a lawyer. She needs to be aware of what the privilege is so she doesn't waive it. That's all.
Did you ever become aware that a letter had been sent to Johnny's entertainment lawyer, Jake Bloom?
Same objection. And this is the third time you've asked the same question. And she's answered it twice. So I'm instructing you don't answer.
Did you ever develop a concern that Johnny would be informed that you were attempting to ask him for money?
Vague and ambiguous. Unintelligible.
Unintelligible?
As of May 24th, were you
No. You do not get to steal Camille's objection in 6 years, you fucker.
aware that your lawyer had had made a demand of Johnny for money?
No.
Wait. I just want you to be aware that they're asking you privileged information, so you can't waive the privilege.
I'd also interject that assumes facts, not an evidence, facts foundation.
Were you aware of what, if anything, you had asked for in filing your dissolution on
What, if
Monday,
anything?
May 23rd?
If you learn from communications of counsel, it's privileged and don't answer.
How else would I learn that information? How else would I learn that information?
Ms. Hurd, you've testified that you were aware that you'd filed
Answer
for
the question.
dissolution. Is that correct?
Yes.
Did you know what that was?
Well, that's a complicated question because
It's only complicated if you make it complicated.
I don't.
Amber.
I'm not a lawyer, and I don't know the law at all. And
You can speak about the facts.
I still to this day ask questions surrounding the terminology in all of these court proceedings. So if you
Just
ask
answer
me
the
if I knew
fucking
what it was-
question. Just in layman's terms, as a witness, as a person who was there. You don't need to know like See, the fact that she's trying to like weasel out of the, well, I have to be careful how I answer it because I don't understand the law. Because if I slip up again, like I did 20 minutes ago, I don't like slipping up. I like being on the ball and being in control. It's very hard to keep my lies straight when I'm not in control. And you, Blair, are infringing on my ability to lie effectively. So I need you to take a step back, Blair, okay? And let me regain control here. I don't like this line of questioning. Thank you, Charles, for protecting me, by the way. I very much appreciate you. Although you're completely useless after we're done today, just so you know. I'm probably going to fire you just because I can. You know, that's what I do. Like, this is my MO. So, Blair, I need you to take a step back and let me get my lies straight real quick. Okay. All right. What is your question? No, I don't like that question. Next question.
Was vaguely, but I don't know every detail of what that entails.
Did you read the petition for dissolution before you placed your signature on it?
Can you repeat what document you're referring to?
The papers that were filed in court on Monday, to which you previously referred to as understanding were dissolution papers.
And you're asking me what?
Did you sign those papers before they were filed in court?
Yes, I believe I signed them.
Okay. When you say you believe them, you signed them, do you remember signing them?
There have been a lot of documents that I've signed throughout this
process. For the love of Benji.
If you signed them, Ms. Hurd, did you read what the contents of the document you were signing before you signed it?
Specifically referring to the dissolution?
Yes.
I don't know. It was a very, very stressful day, and it involved emotion. It was emotionally a traumatic day, and it followed even more traumatic few days prior, and it was extremely.
That's awesome.
It was an extremely traumatic and emotional day. I don't remember every detail of every word I read and every piece of paper I read. It was one of the worst and most difficult days of my life.
Non-responsive, motion to strike, everything after Ms. Hurd answered yes.
And I object to that. I believe it was responsive.
Do you recognize what will be marked as respondents?
Notice how her objections are kind of thorough. They're like objection, non-responsive, move to strike. And Charles's response to her objections are always like, nuh-uh. Like objection, non-responsive, nuh-uh. Objection, move to strike, Like that's literally his objection every single time.
It's F. Have you had a chance to review those documents?
Yes.
Do you recognize your signature on those documents?
Yes, it looks like my signature.
Did you sign those documents, Ms. Hurd?
Yes, I did.
Did you read those documents before you signed those documents?
I can't recall if I read every word.
Did you read any of the words?
Yes, I'm sure.
Did you believe when you signed those documents you were asking the court for dissolution of your marriage to Johnny Depp?
Wait a minute. You signed them without even reading them? I mean, okay, fine. Who reads it at the end of the day? Fair. But like, did you read it? Any of it? Like, it may have been like, I'm selling my soul to the devil and Johnny Depp can get everything I own. Sign here, sign here, sign here. I mean, at least read some of it. There goes a squirrel. There it's a rabbit. Oh, wait, a sea chipmunk. Oh, pink elephant. No, wait, there goes a kangaroo. My dog stepped on a bee. Navy vet, love for the broken. Thank you.
Yes.
Did you want to do that?
Yes.
Did you authorize your lawyers to do that?
Yes.
Okay. Did you believe on the day you filed those papers and signed those papers, you were seeking a domestic violence restraining order against Johnny Depp?
What was your question exactly?
Did you believe on Monday, May 23rd, that you were authorizing your lawyers to file and seek a domestic violence restraining order on that day, on that Monday?
I believe so. Yes. Yes.
You wanted a domestic violence restraining order on that day.
Yes.
And that was the day before you were trying to talk to your husband, correct?
I wanted to tell him. Yeah. It was the day before I was trying to tell him, or I tried to tell him probably that day.
You tried to tell him what?
23rd? No. Yeah. Somewhere around this time, I was trying to tell him. So he didn't find out about it.
Trying to keep her lies straight.
Did you believe that a restraining order against your husband, Johnny Depp, was going to be issued on Monday, May 23rd?
I'm going to object. Whatever understanding you developed, if it was from counsel, you cannot answer its privilege.
Then I cannot.
Okay. On May 23rd, did you believe after court was over that a restraining order had been issued against your husband?
I'm just going to object on grounds of privilege. Whatever you came to understand, if it was from counsel, you cannot answer.
Okay. So is it your testimony you were worried about his reaction to that?
Wait, vague and ambiguous. It's a different question also.
Did you just testify earlier? You said you were worried about something?
Yes.
What were you worried about, Ms. Hurd?
As always, with potentially, I worried about the backlash of my filing. I worried about the backlash he could have. It could have.
Okay. But you'd already filed for the restraining order, correct?
At what time?
Monday, the 23rd.
So what's your question?
Had you already
Wait,
had
wait. Okay, it's apparently an inaccurate date.
Did you believe on Monday you had filed the restraining order?
Anything that you came to learn from counsel.
Oh, for the love of God.
Okay.
But that's not exactly true. This is not like a counsel communication. This is literally just a fucking, oh my God. This is a proceeding. It's not like I told my lawyer, this and that, or my lawyer told me this and that. It's not, it doesn't fall under the guise of privilege. You're just hiding behind it like a veil, and it's annoying. Oh, man.
What's this?
That's exhibit F, just introduced as
Ms. Hurd?
I just want to get something in here because I'm allowed to. Blair, you said that you're not trying to trick her. If you're giving her the wrong dates, then you are trying to trick her. So let's just try to keep it all on the up and up. If you're inaccurate about something, apologize and clarify it so that we have a clear record here.
Ms. Hurd, you just testified that you believed the papers you filed in court on Monday, the 23rd of May, 2016, were seeking a domestic violence restraining order, correct?
I think it misstates her testimony. The restraining order hearing was on May 27th.
Paperwork was filed that date. Non-responsive testimony.
Hearing and the paperwork gets filed on one day. The hearing happens on another day. Why are there fucking monkeys in the room? I don't like it. They're just they're not. I'm sorry. It's not monkeys in the room. It's the fact that they're just trying so hard to resist every sentence that the lawyers are now, like on Johnny's side, I think are getting lost in this bullshit. Like legit. Thank you, Liz. I really appreciate that.
By the attorneys in the room move to strike. I am very clear, Ms. Hurd, that I heard you say that you believed you had sought a restraining order on Monday, May 23rd. Is that incorrect? Do you want to change that testimony?
I don't understand what you're asking.
Okay.
Yes,
As
you
you
do.
were communicating repeatedly with Mr. Depp on May 24th, 2016, did you believe at that time that there was already a restraining order?
I don't remember when the exact date of the restraining order was filed.
I'm not asking you that, Ms. Hurd. I'm asking when you were communicating with your husband, did you believe at the time?
I swear, just out of spite, I would probably legit just start calling her Mrs. Depp for the rest of the fucking deposition. All right, you know what, Ms. Hurd, since you are unable to cooperate with me, I'm going to show you what that feels like, Mrs. Depp. All right, Mrs. Depp, obviously what she would do is she would stand up and like, I don't have to tolerate such bigotry on your behalf, and I'm not going to be here for this. And she would stand up and leave. I know. It's completely inappropriate, but literally her conduct is beyond inappropriate. That's literally what I would do if I could. Like, I'd just start calling her Mrs. Depp just to get under her skin.
You were communicating with him on May 24th that a restraining order had already been obtained.
I don't remember.
Okay. You testified earlier when you reviewed respondents F. Do you recall reviewing those papers in detail? Yes.
Wait, F is this.
Yes. Do you remember reviewing those documents?
I do.
Okay. Could you point to me anywhere in those documents which you signed where you were seeking a restraining order?
Argumentative.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
She'd like you to look at the documents.
Oh, okay.
And she'd like you to look for references to a request for a restraining order. So take your time and review the documents.
Okay.
The divorce petition.
For the record, she's looking at Exhibit F, which is the summons and the petition for dissolution.
Not domestic violence.
Oh, this has this. It's
It's an argumentative, harassing, and confusing question.
I don't know
And she's
what
doing
she
exactly what she told you she wasn't going to do, which is to trick you.
So you're asking me to point out in here if there's any sort of reference to a restraining order. Is that correct? I'm sorry. I'm just trying to understand.
Yes. Did you believe when you signed that document that the document you were signing was intended to secure a restraining order against your husband?
Let me just object. It's harassing.
The answer is yes!
Speak for themselves, and it calls for a
For fuck's sake!
Documents we're seeking.
Where are the people?
Would you answer my question?
As I said before, too, that was a very, very traumatic time and a very traumatic day. I believe by looking at the date, where's the date on this? I believe that this was right after I just cell phones smashed into my face and was beat up, and then had the cops enter my home, 2 sets of them, and then had engaged in a few days worth of a concentrated media attack against my character. So I was dealing with a lot. It was a very stressful time. Not to mention I had come to the conclusion I could no longer stay married to the monster, even though there was also the good part of him.
He has a
Not
name.
even deep part of him there. So coming to all those conclusions while having the public aimed at you and realizing you're in the middle of the early stages of a smear campaign, it makes things very stressful, especially when you have to go and file publicly something that is extremely embarrassing and private, and you deal with a lot in those moments. So I don't.
Even Zinnia woke up and she's like, "Bro, are you okay?" She came up to me. God bless her. She came up to me and she's like, "Dude, are you all right? Like, do you need me to call 911?" I'm like, "Maybe." She literally came to check up on me when I screamed and melted. Mwah, I love you. Mwah. You're so cute. Isn't she like the prettiest girl ever? She's like the prettiest little thing.
Don't remember exactly what I took from seeing these in that moment of seeing these and signing these.
Okay. And I just want to know the truth, Miss Hurd. When you said to Mr. Judge, "I'm desperately trying to reach Johnny," did you believe that you had already requested a restraining order?
I don't remember if at that time I knew I had a restraining order or not. I don't remember the exact sequence of exact timing of the sequence of events. I'm sorry.
Okay.
It was a very stressful time.
And when you were speaking with Johnny on the phone on May 24th, did you believe you had already gotten a restraining order?
Wait, stop. I believe that misstates prior testimony that assumes facts not in evidence.
I apologize. When you were attempting to reach Johnny on the phone on May 24th, did you believe that you had already gotten a restraining order?
I can't remember the exact sequence of events when certain filings happened. I can't remember the what came first or when they happened. It was the most stressful time of my life.
Okay, non-responsive.
Is it true, Ms. Hurd, that on May 25th at 4:33, you sent Mr. Depp a text saying, quote, "Just confirm that cover letter is completely private and has nothing to do with any public record, and only included the domestic violence restraining order stuff because I called the lawyer when the cops were here and I didn't know what to or why that happened and was scared, but that letter is private. And unless you file as well, which I guess opens up to the press possibly catching it, as they have seemingly missed this one, at least for right now, then it can be revoked anytime. If you file separately as well, it's the same thing as far as being revoked is concerned, but both requires both our signatures, and as a new filed public document for the records. At least that's my understanding of it. Oh, and I confirmed with my lawyer the quickly part, etc. You mentioned in letter between our lawyers, including the deadline for response from them, wasn't something I said, asked for, or even noticed. And it's not mandatory at all. We can take as long or quick as we want and do this or undo this if we want, as we see fit. You and I have the control and love each other. I thought you filed. You said you were going to and said goodbye. I'm sorry if I've hurt you. I have nothing but love for you."
Welcome, William.
Assumes facts not in evidence, and the
May I
best
finish my
evidence
question?
rule. I thought that was your question. You paused.
Did you send that text?
Assumes facts not in evidence. Best evidence rule. The document's not in front of you. You're not looking at it.
It's dead mouse, not modest mouse. It's dead mouse. But you're close. You got the mouse part right.
Right. May I
Again,
see
it's trickery that she said she was not going to play today. Is there a reason you're not letting her see the words on the page that you're reading from?
Do you recognize what I just read to you?
Vaguely.
We have another
May
beautiful
I
girl
show you
joining
what will
us.
be marked as Exhibit G?
Take your time.
She just woke
Would
up
you
too.
please review that text for
She
me?
just came up and was like,
Daddy, can I have some lovins?
"You smell like a dog."
Can we actually mark these so that if we need to go back, we know what we're dealing with here? Because it's going to be hard for me to find them.
My emotional support animals are coming to my rescue.
Maybe during the break.
Yes, yes, yes.
Blair, what was your question?
Did you send the text that I just read on the record on May 25th, 2016 to your husband, Johnny Depp?
Is the question, did she send Exhibit G or did she send all the words that you read?
Did you understand my question?
It's trickery.
Yeah.
How is that trickery?
She read
Can
to
you
you
clarify?
like 4 pages that you weren't looking at, and now she's putting in front of you a document asking if you sent the words that she never showed you.
Exactly.
Objection.
I-
Counsel is testifying and continuing speaking objections.
I
Would you
do
like?
see-
Objection, trickery.
I do see on here.
That's not a real objection.
I didn't hear you say it. I'm sure you. I mean, I hope you did, but I specify here in my statement to Johnny. I say,
She's licking my hands
I
clean.
didn't know what to do or why
Right
that
now.
happened and was scared. And I don't remember. I mean, maybe I missed that.
Ms. Hurd, is every word in Exhibit G, Respondents G, in the text described as coming from you, words that you communicated to your husband, Johnny Depp,
Take your time
on
to
May
review.
25th, 2016?
Take as long as you need. It's a long text.
Isn't that right, Diana? Christopher Melcher, he's a lawyer in California. When he was on Popcorn Planet, he mentioned he knows this lawyer, Amber Heard lawyer, and he confirmed that this lawyer is this special. It's how he works. Thanks, OO, for the clarification to Christopher Melcher's question, I guess. I missed the question, but I think asking about who this guy is. Charles. My other boyfriend.
Am I missing a page at the end? It just looks like it's cut off. I have it stops it and do this or undo this, but it's cut off. So I.
Oh, I'm
assume-
sorry, did I not?
I don't. Maybe you didn't mean. I mean, maybe you accidentally left a page out because this text message is cut off. And so
Undo, your last page is undo this.
Yeah, but it's clearly cut off.
There's not, the last page you have doesn't say from you called you back?
No.
Okay,
This-
I'm
this
sorry.
is undo
If I
this.
may augment the record, the complete exhibit
Oh, really?
has an additional page and continuing after undo this. Up until undo this, were those words that you communicated to Johnny Depp?
Take your time. You can review the whole thing if you want.
It's well.
Which video?
It's cut off between
Lisa.
page 1 and 2, I believe. It says, when the cops, because I called the lawyer when the cops were called, when the cops were here, and I didn't know what to do or why. That
I think you'll notice that
I'm missing a page. I'm sorry. I think I'm missing a page. It goes from I didn't know what to do or why didn't know what to do. Oh, it just
Or why that
overlaps.
happened.
And so this would be this and why that happened
Mhm.
and was scared. Oh, so it does. So it says I didn't know what to do or why that happened. Right? It goes here. Happened and I was scared.
Okay. So there wasn't a missing page. You've sorted it out?
It's just that they didn't. There was some overlap.
And is it true you sent
But there
those-
was a missing page at the end, and I just received
And now
that
you
from
have that, yes?
Yeah, and I don't
And
wanna
are
read it.
those words you?
I haven't read it
Okay.
yet. If that's okay.
Sure. Why don't we take a break? We have a
Great.
media break. According to the reporter, we can take a brief recess while you put in new media. Is that okay?
Okay.
Thank you,
Yes.
Mr.
This marks the end of media number 1 in the video deposition.
All right.
The time is
Thank
approximately
goodness.
12:03 p.m. and we're going off the record.
Oh, okay. So that's it for volume 1. I'm gonna wait for Incredibly Average to put up volume 2, which I actually just messaged him, or not messaged him, but I left a reply. I don't know
All
if
right,
anybody.
everyone, that wraps up this volume. I want to thank you again for watching
There
and
he goes.
supporting the channel. Thank you for any comments down
Thanks,
below.
Incredibly
I really do
Average. Shout out
appreciate
to you,
it.
bro.
Be sure to check back and turn on notifications for more parts, volumes, and other content as I continue on. So until next time, if there is a next time, take care.
If there is a next time, of course there is. No, for real. Go check him out. Go check him out. He's awesome. He actually just put up part 5, I think, out of like 7 or 8 parts that he said he's going to do. So there should be about 4 volumes or something. No, that's not possible unless the deposition goes into the second day. Because he just put out part 5, and I saw that was like the end of it, of the deposition, because it ends right then and there. Anyway, I don't know. I'm not gonna do math. I'm just gonna say that I am happy that we did this. It's like 2 hours of testimony, and then I have an hour and 15 minutes or so of commentary on it. Kind of impressive. But anyway, wasn't expecting that I would have that much to say on it, but I hope it was entertaining. I hope you guys had some fun. I hope you guys learned. I hope I made it more tolerable. But my God, I need Tylenol after this, like no joke. I don't take blood pressure medication, but I think I may need to go to my doctor and get some blood pressure medication prescribed for the next portion of this depo, because I am literally about to fucking lose it. It's insane how much gaslighting Amber is capable of in a single sitting. Like, good God. Also, real quick, Lisa, where are you, Lisa? Are you still in here? I don't know if you wrote again, but Lisa Lap. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. Did you said that I got a shout out on Just In channel? I mean, they're not really a credible news source. No offense to them. They're in it for the grift, which I always respect. I respect the grift. But I have no idea where I was mentioned or how, but I guess I'll go check it out. Is it their latest video that they just published? Literally 12 minutes ago? Oh, wow. 13 minutes ago, yeah. I'll go check it out. Okay. Anyway, thank you all so much for joining. Don't forget to like this video, comment below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'm going to keep doing this, and as new stuff comes up, of course, and I do have a bunch of trials lined up. So in 10 days, I have my first jury trial since the one in Madison County. So hopefully I'll be posting that once that is done. And I have like 16 other jury trials scheduled over the next 3 months. So it's going to be busy, but also content. Going back to the Kristen Smart murder trial in 2 weeks. So be on the lookout for that. I'm going to be doing jury reporting, which I have not done on that case yet. So brand spanking new, eyes only, the only voice that's going to be reporting it in the world. So nobody else does this. So I'm going to do that. And somebody said on my Twitter the other day, they're like, well, it's so easy. Like, even Jen B was like, well, then you go do it. And she's like, thank you for proving my point. Like, even I can do it. It's so easy. Well, then why don't you? Why are you not doing it? Exactly. It's a skill. Not everybody can do it. It seems easy until you actually try it. It's only bullshit if you're bad at it. This is what I'm starting to find out. So it's a skill, whatever. I have to prove my mettle. I still haven't proved myself yet. I did it once. I was right. I was the only voice saying Johnny's going to win, and he won. Because I saw it. I saw the jury. I saw their reactions to testimony. Now I need to prove myself on another case, and a third case, and a fourth, and a fifth, and a sixth. And then maybe I'll have a reputation, a good or a bad one. Only time will tell. So I thank you all for joining me on this Sunday afternoon. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Try to like clear yourself, cleanse yourself, go for a run, drink some hot cocoa, whatever you got to do, cozy up on the couch. She literally just brought her toy. She's like, oh, Larry is finishing up his stream. So Zinnia just brought her toy and she's looking at me like, are you ready to play? I swear to God, you guys, I have to show you. Check this out. She just dragged her toy and she's looking at me like, are we going to play? Are you ready? She just brought that toy and that was not there. See, look, watch. She might grab it again. She's looking for, oh, there she goes. There she goes. I swear this cat is all sorts of magical. It's so crazy. She knows that I'm about to finish streaming, I think, and she wants me to play with her. That's just insane. This cat is incredible. Anyway, so yeah, we're gonna keep this train moving, and I appreciate every single one of you. As always, I love you guys. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you all in the next video. Have a great rest of your Sunday, everybody, as I go play with Zinnia.